Welcome to another edition of Mass Mats and Mayhem. I'm your host, Justin Harvey. You can find me on Twitter at JustinHarvey75. Joined today by my regular co-host, Byron. What's your deal? What's your name, dude?
At Byron Fever on Twitter, on Instagram, on Snapchat, and find me on Venmo and send me money.
Right, and the other guy, who's that over there in the Peros Del Mal shirt? What's up with that? That's a dope shirt.
Doesn't matter.
Hey, it's Casey Case. I'm in your face. It's into Gringo Cyberspace. Don't you suckers understand? Don't you know that I'm the man? I'm the man. We got somebody else here, but he's invisible.
Yeah, he's invisible, but I'm rocking his shirt. There it is, the Massaro shirt. Woo! The man himself, Vinnie Massaro, is in the house. What's up, Vinnie?
What's up? What's up, Mats and Mayhem? How you guys doing?
That's just hard to say, isn't it?
I'm doing delicious, Vinny. I'm doing delicious.
You're doing delicious? That's it. I thought you had a girlfriend or a quote-unquote girlfriend, whatever that fucking means, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm going to be going there in like a couple weeks, actually, so I might not be
Nobody cares. So nobody cares. Anyways, so hey, Byron, did you say you're at Venmo?
Venmo. It's a handy app on your phone.
And look, since you're over at Venmo, can you pick me up Delirium Trim-Ins and a six-pack of Stella?
Yeah, exactly. Can you grab me some Guinness or something at Venmo? That's awesome, dude.
I don't mess around with that fancy stuff.
That Roddy Piper Kick Ass and Chew Bubblegum Soda.
Hey, Vinny, I got a question. I want to lead off with this. You were getting some hype on some other podcasts that I listened to. I believe today or yesterday or something was National Podcast Day, so got to put over some podcasters out there. But I heard you get mentioned on Keeping It 100. I heard you mentioned on Last Real Heels last week. Like, you are podcast famous, my friend. What's up with you?
I guess whatever that means. Yeah, I mean, honestly, because I'm gonna pull back the curtain, and I actually work during the day, and I drive a lot, which and a lot of times I'm just listening to podcasts. I listen to Last Real Heels, obviously. Konnan, I love Konnan. He's the reason why I even got into Lucha Underground, because he I had a trial with him. And, he let me, I showed up one day in Lucha Underground, and he basically introduced me to Chris DeJosa, which is, the two main reasons why I'm in Lucha Underground. So always got to give Konnan props. And, there's other podcasts. I love the AIW podcast. There's W Lucha on Twitter. He has a podcast. The Lady J has podcast. I mean, TwitWow podcast. And, just like you guys, I comment on them, and I just, I happen to comment on the Keeping It 100 podcast, and they seem to like it. They think I'm funny. So, they mention me, I guess. So I'll take that. I'll take that as a compliment.
Dude, I listen to their show every week too, and it cracks me up, man. The Hoovy segments are awesome, and then when I heard him shouting you out, I was like, "That's the boy, Vinny. That was dope." And they are getting hits, man. They are getting a ton of hits. And Konnan is like, he hit me on Twitter like, yeah, keep promoting the show and this, that, and the other thing. I'm like, brother, you're like the number 27 podcast in all of sports out there. Like, you don't need my help at this point. I need your help. What's up?
Yeah, I love Konnan's Twitter, because it's like half of it is like talking shit in Spanish, and the other half is like, fans going, "Oh, Konnan, I loved you in WCW. Cool. You listen to my podcast?" Like, that's like it. That's all. That's basically like all his Twitter says.
Which is dope. I love it. But yeah, but part of what he was putting over was a drinking game that you came up with for his show. So I think you need to be the official creator of podcast drinking games for us, Vinny.
All right. I'm pretty sure I can come up with a drinking game for you guys. Shoot. I'll have to think about it and make a good one. But off the top of my head, take a shot every time Casey says something stupid. That's a pretty good one right there.
Oh, you'll be just as sober as me, everybody. All right.
Oh, no way.
All right, there you go. There's the first shot right there. So that's the first one right there. Good, thanks, Casey. Appreciate it.
No problem, Vinny.
Man, I'm gonna try this out. See how this game works for me.
Oh shit. Is
There
this
you go. Take a shot.
Is this our kazoo? Justin taking a drink?
That's strong.
There you go.
Ooh, thanks, Casey. Say smarter stuff, please. That stuff is harsh. Vinny, dude, I haven't talked to you in so long. Like, I was gonna have you on right after Conor and Nate, because we had been going back and forth on that one, and I said that Conor was gonna pick up the second one, and you were like, "No way, Nate's gonna put the beat down on him." How'd you feel about that fight, man?
I mean, it was I don't know. It was I mean, you can tell that Conor was definitely started. You can tell from the very first round, he was he was running a marathon. He was definitely not doing a sprint. You know what I mean? So he was definitely smarter this time around. I don't know, man. It was, I mean, sometimes I have to go back and rewatch some of those fights, because I'm so, when I watch them the first time or live, I'm so in the moment where my judgment's kind of clouded, but
right.
I don't know. I think and then I rewatch it again, and I'm like, okay, yeah, but I mean, the first time I saw it, I was like, there's no way Conor won 3 rounds, but people have said that it was the right decision, but who knows? But
I thought it was bullshit too, Vinny. It was bullshit. Diaz got robbed.
All right, take a shot, Justin.
I was agreeing with you.
Yeah, you said it in a stupid way, though.
I'm gonna be like Urban here in a minute. Jesus Christ! All right, here we go.
We need to adjust the rules maybe to make it more fair for Casey. Or else everyone's gonna be in a hospital.
I like these rules so far.
Right.
I think these rules are working out for me so far. I don't know. That fight was weird. Like, I had it scored pretty much how it happened. And I kind of did want Conor to win, but I do like Nate. Don't get me wrong, I do like Nate a lot. But I thought that the judges got it right. A lot of people were bitching and complaining afterwards, and I'm happy about that too, because I want to see them fight again. I can't believe it. There's no title on the line that has no real implication in the sport at all, but yet for some reason I like watching these two guys fight. I want to see more of it. Am I crazy?
Oh, sure, but no. I mean, of course, it's a great. We always want. Everybody wants to see Dan Henderson fight Shogun, but at some point you're gonna have to have contenders and fights, or else it doesn't happen. That's why I don't agree with with the latest one with Conor fighting Eddie Alvarez, because once again he's not putting up his belt. You know what I mean? It's like I don't know, man. It's just. Because I mean, if Eddie beats him, is he gonna win the belt? No.
No, I mean he can't win the 145 belt. So Eddie has nothing to gain.
So when was the last time the 145 belt was actually defended?
I mean, was when he knocked out Jose.
Exactly.
He's never defended.
Exactly.
He won it. He's never defended it.
Exactly. Like, if you were in the 145, wouldn't you be just superbly just pissed right now?
Jose Aldo has said he quits. But,
Yeah,
I mean, Jose
also
seems like he's ducking Jose seems like he's ducking Max Holloway a little bit, too. He basically was like, I want Conor or I want Anthony Pettis. Said nothing about Max Holloway, who's on, he hasn't lost since Conor beat him 13 fights ago for him. He's beaten everybody else, and it seems like nobody wants to fight Max Holloway. And now even Frankie Edgar's fighting Little Even Stevens, and I mean, that whole division is upside down and weird right now because of what Conor's doing. It's kind of fucked up.
I think Jose is going to go to Bellator and fight Pitbull, so that's going to happen.
Well, he's got a whole lot of paperwork to get out of before that happens, and I feel like Dana's going to hold him hostage. I don't think that Dana's going to let him go, because I think Dana still does want that fight. I don't think Dana is in disagreement. I think that he just can't control Conor and where the money's coming from. I mean, if the money's there, I feel like Dana's just like, well, shit, I tried to hold out. I tried to make this thing happen. I made these promises to Frankie and Jose that Conor would come back down and defend his belt. But now, fuck, if Eddie Alvarez wants to fight him and Conor wants to fight Eddie and everybody wants to see it and is going to pay me $10 million to do it at MSG, then I guess that's what we're doing. I feel like Dana's hands getting forced.
But that's ridiculous, because what happens is, like, let's say they fight, right? And then it's like a 5-round fight and split decision, Eddie Alvarez wins. What's the next fight for Conor? Rematch. So there's another year and a half of no belt. And then what happens, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, and then who knows out of that? What happens if Conor just knocks out Eddie, like, in one fucking shot? Maybe Conor's like, you know what, shit, that extra 10 pounds is, you know, is nice to not have to make weight. Maybe he just drops it, and then there's no, you know, it's like, that's why it's, you know, that's why I just don't, you know, I mean, obviously I'm a fan, and I love, like, fights, special attraction fights,
right?
But not with the champion. That's all I want to say. You know what I mean?
Well,
like,
and that, I guess that is part of the problem too. But the other part of the problem is that the casual fans out there, who are not, you know, the real MMA fans like we are necessarily, they just want to see Conor fight the next biggest name out there. They want to see him fight the Cowboy Cerrones of the world. They want to see him fight GSP or whoever, whatever big name is out there. They don't seem to care about, you know, Jose Aldo or even Frankie at this point. They don't care about that division. So it makes it tough from a business standpoint, I think, for those guys. I think that anybody who's a real fan of the sport itself and what the sport should mean and what the quality of matches and belts should be, we'll see. I'll be interested, though. I'll be happy if he does win, to see him hold 2 belts, just because no one's done it before, regardless if it's him or anyone else. No one's done it simultaneously. BJ did it in different weight classes, and other guys have gone up and down different weight classes, but not at the same time.
Yeah,
but I mean,
Dan Henderson did it in Pride, remember?
But in Pride, I'm just saying, in UFC, no one's been able to do it because of the fact that they normally strip a guy. You know, and Jose even got told that when he was champ, that if he was going to jump around weight classes, he had to give up the belt to do it, because he talked about going up to lightweight a couple of times and fighting those guys to try to have 2 belts, and they told him no. So you know he's pissed now. He's like, wait, well, you told me no 5 years ago, and now Conor can just hold his belt for 3 fights without having to defend it at a different weight class? What the fuck? So I get that frustration, but then you got guys like Max Holloway, who's like, I can't even get a crack at the interim champ, who's Jose, because now he's crying and saying he's retired, and so the whole division is like, fuck, man, I can't do anything.
Right.
Anyway, I just thought, I think the whole thing is crazy. We'll see.
No, I agree. Hey, by the way, how many, you taking 2 shots already?
Yeah, I'm at 2. Casey, well, we've kept Casey quiet. We got to get Casey talking.
Hey, Casey, what do you think about Sexy Star?
I think if her face swells up like that from a potato, she's going to have real fun in the boxing world. That's what I think.
Wait, say that again. Okay, so I think there definitely needs to be a rule that anytime Casey says anything negative about Sexy Star, you have to drink, for sure.
There you go. All right, there you go. Take a shot.
Do you guys want manslaughter charges from alcohol poisoning of our listeners? That's not good, man.
All right, well,
take a shot. There's one more. Take a shot.
Justin has a family. Have some pity on him. Don't make him drink this much before noon.
Okay, so here's my question for you, Vinny. Let's counterbalance this a little bit. You being a worker who has worked in the temple, what are your thoughts on Sexy Star as a performer, so we can counterbalance some of Casey's attitude?
And I want to hear your opinion on how much of a shot she has getting into boxing from what you've seen.
Getting into boxing, I've never really even watched her box. Honestly, I haven't really watched female boxing, so I don't even know. I'm guessing it's mostly points. So sure, she has a shot. Why not? You know what I mean? She's fast and she's fit. So why wouldn't she have a shot in boxing? It's not like she's gonna, get knocked out. She's not, in a heavyweight of female. So I'm sure it's all point system. So I don't see why not. With her, with her in wrestling, I haven't gotten a chance to wrestle her, but from what I noticed, she's a perfect example of somebody that has to do enough. You know what I mean? Like that's what she just does enough out there. I personally think it's you know, I mean, obviously, yeah, she's not gonna go out there and be, you know, Toyota from All Japan Women and you know, and just do it like crazy ass shit, but she doesn't have to. You know what I mean? It's like she doesn't, you know, she doesn't have to go out there and, you know, do that because, you know, she has a great gimmick and, you know, she's got a following already, so she doesn't have to go out there and go on, you know, do, you know, whatever power bombs and Canadian destroyers. You know what I mean? It's
like, I agree. I mean, look, over is over. We were talking about Chavo the other day, and it's like Chavo was always one of the most brilliant guys in the cruiserweight division back in WCW and WWE in those days because he never overworked himself like some of those other guys did. Some of those guys were doing spots that they didn't need to do, and Chavo would still tell the same great story and get himself over without, you know, doing the plancha that would hurt himself or doing, you know, jumping over the top rope. He would wait for the other 5 guys to jump out, and then he would come out the outside and bust a heel spot of some kind, you know? And
right, it's like, you know, I mean, I know what you guys are trying to say because I know Casey just, you know, doesn't like her, and that's fine. I mean, trust me, there's, you know, I would rather have, you know, I know, I mean, not rather. I mean, I know there's like a Fabi Apache. I think she's fucking like amazing wrestler. Like I would love to see her at the Temple, but you know, Sexy Star. But at the same time, I don't think Fabi would be. I don't think she would translate well with the American crowd. I don't think that would. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think she would get over the same way that she does in Mexico for sure.
Right, exactly. So it's kind of like this. It's like, you know, I think Sexy Star is a perfect combination of a luchador and an American female wrestler. Where it's like if there's like a Mexican, you know, if there's like someone, you know, just someone that's watching TV and watches Lucha Underground because they like the Mexican wrestling, they watch Sexy Star, they'll appreciate it. If there's an American that just wants to watch wrestling, they watch Sexy Star, they'll appreciate her. You know what I mean? It's like the way I describe it is like this. When you go, you know, like I love Japanese wrestling, but I love Japanese wrestling because I've watched it all my life. I love watching Shibata work. He's fucking awesome. I love the way you know, it's like a shoot with him. Other guys that, you know, there's guys that like, you know, watch WWE and I show them, hey man, watch this matches from Shibata. They're like, dude, it's fucking terrible. Why is he headbutting the guy hard? Why is he kicking? This is stupid. This guy's wearing black. I'm like, okay, that guy will not like Shibata because he's you know, he's got that WWE training. You know what I mean? He's watched WWE all his life. So like he's programmed for that
product, and that's one of the biggest problems in wrestling is so many people are programmed to the primary bigger products. And believe me, I know AAA fans that are the same way too, where they're like so programmed from being little kids to the AAA booking and style that they watch other stuff and they're flabbergasted. They don't even get it.
Right, and that's why, and you know, and the same thing is, you know, the Lucha Underground fan is not a AAA fan. It's not, you know, some of them are, but most of them are not. They're wrestling fans. That's why Blue Demon never caught on. You know, in Mexico, he's a gigantic star. When we do shows here in the Bay Area, you know, and we do it like in you know, in the heavily Mexican populated, you know, areas, Blue Demon sells out. We'll put the Blue Demon against who doesn't matter. And we'll draw like 1,500 people, but you know, with but if we do that like in, you know, San Francisco where it's mostly Americans, nobody will go because nobody, you know, because people don't get him.
Right.
That's why Blue Demon never really caught on in Lucha Underground because he's that old school style. But guys like Phoenix.
Yeah, and it's funny because when I first turned on Lucha Underground, that was exactly what I expected to see. It was like, oh yeah, of course Blue Demon is here. That makes perfect sense to me. Like that was exactly what I expected to see when I turned on Lucha Underground, and it was there. And it didn't really catch on that first season. That was one of the angles that a lot of people still say like, it wasn't all that to me.
Right.
You know.
And the reason is because Blue Demon, he's like an old school luchador. He doesn't, you know what I mean? Like he's like, you know, he's gonna wrestle that kind of style. You know, like Tejano and all those guys, and you know, that are from AAA that have come here that have success is because they're not wrestling that AAA style. They're wrestling like the hybrid, kind of like PWG, you know, lucha, you know, WCW cruiserweight, like half lucha, half American. You know,
right?
You know, and I think Sexy Star is that perfect combination of like lucha libre AAA and American style of wrestling. You know what I mean? It's like, yes, is she like a world beater? I mean, is she gonna fucking, you know, is she like the best, you know, female wrestler? No, I mean, you know, I think, you know, like girls, there's two types of female wrestlers. There's like, you know, the ones that are all about, you know, wrestling. It's like, you know, like Sarah Stock and you know, Nicole Savoy. You know, there's girls like, then there's other girls who are like, okay, I'm gonna wrestle, but I'm mainly gonna play to the crowd and play the gimmick, which is like, you know, I mean, you know, like half of the girls in WWE are like that. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
And I think Sexy Star is a good, you know, is a good place. I know, like, you know, I think a lot of guys, like, you know, Casey, I think Casey does this a lot, is that he looks at every single wrestler by themselves and looks at it and goes, okay, you are not the number one 100% greatest wrestler, so I don't think you belong to Lucha Underground. To me, it's not as, I don't think that. To me, I look at it as, you know, it's like we all need different parts, you know what I mean? We all can't be Pentagon. We all can't go out there and be badasses and light things on fire and break arms. As much as we all want to, we can't. You know, we need, you know, in The Sopranos, you need Tony Soprano and you need the guy that gets beat up by the Soprano. Well, guess what? You know, it's, you got to have some. So I think Sexy Star is that perfect fit for Lucha Underground show. So, you know, that's my personal opinion on it.
Okay, Vinny, question for you then. Who in your opinion is the best, like it could be gimmick, it could be work, but best female wrestler all time?
Time?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Probably Toyota. Yeah.
See, with mine, it's Bull Nakano because I think she does both really well. Like Dump Matsumoto is probably my favorite gimmick-wise, and they kind of have the same gimmick, you know, but, like, Bull brought the work, too. So she's my vote right there.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's just, you know, right now it's because Toyota is actually wrestling in the UK, so,
yeah,
you know, I've been watching some of her stuff, but honestly, there's, like, Sarah Stock is really good.
Yeah.
There's this girl, female that not a lot of people know about, but her name is Lady Victoria. I got to wrestle with her.
From that used to manage Mexico's Most Wanted and shit.
Yeah, well, no. She actually managed me and Hoovy, but that's a different story. But she used to wrestle down in Mexico. She's a badass. She literally will just wrestle like the dudes and just be like 100%. So I think she's a very, like, you know, she's one of the up there. Sarah Del Rey, a person that I helped train. I think she's really good. You know, and you know, there's a lot of good. You know, I think Becky Lynch is really good. Bailey's really good. But you know, there's besides that a lot. You know, Japanese women. You know, of course. You know, there's basically like half the roster in Stardom is really freaking good.
Yeah.
So
that's the truth. And if you're not watching Stardom every now and then, you got to tune in because every time I do, I'm just like, damn, they're going hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
If you haven't, because that fucking elbow drop she has is great.
Great. Yeah, it's great. Take a shot there, Justin.
God dang it. I was hoping you wouldn't notice that one.
Well, Vinny, I wanted to ask you when you're bringing up, when you're talking about the value that Sexy Star brings, it's more than just the quote-unquote work rate. What do you think about, like on the indie and the PWG style of the, you know, getting your shit in and trying to hit all your moves and all of that, and then a little bit of talk after this Miz promo a few weeks ago about the value of having a safe work rate and going out there and putting on the show and not getting hurt all the time. What do you think about that? I mean, is there a luxury with someone like Miz to be able to choose to work that style over someone else who's trying to get noticed?
Well, I don't know. I mean, you know, like it's tough to say because you know, at some point, yeah. I mean, you're getting noticed. But at what cost? You know, Ospreay got noticed, you know, and he got to go to New Japan. He's getting bookings, but now he's got to take, you know, months off because he's getting injured. You know what I mean? You can get noticed, and you don't, you know what I mean? It's like, yes, you can do those crazy spots, but you don't have to just go 100 miles per hour every single time. And honestly, it's for me. I'm a little bit more old school, and I don't really like that whole just do moves for the sake of doing moves. I actually like doing having a storyline in the match, and the bigger picture too is there's a storyline for the show. If the first match goes out there and they're doing every single big spot, then what are you going to do for the main event? I look at every match and I look at every show like a movie. You know what I mean? It's you don't if you watch a movie and you see a title screen, all of a sudden you see the world blow up and just like explosions and backflips and the Matrix, all kinds of shit. You know what I mean? Like in the first 5 minutes, that's great, but the ending better be better, right?
Yeah, I mean, where do you go from there if you start too big? And
right,
And
I mean, and in the same token, it's like if you're not invested in that character, and at the end, if at the end of the movie, like the character finally, whatever, kills the bad guy, but you don't care because you don't know the story behind it. You don't know how what the villain did to that, to the character. Then you're not going to care about it. So it's like you can have all the great, you can have this gigantic, and we've all seen it. I mean, there's plenty of movies out there that spent, $100 million, but the story was shit and nobody really cares. It's the same thing. It's, everyone's talking about Suicide Squad. It's like, yeah, everybody, like Suicide Squad was, dirt terrible, but they spent a lot of money on special effects. Well, guess what? That's a spotty match. That's just a match right there where it's like, yeah, it looked cool as hell. I'm sure it's gonna get a lot of views, and but when people ask about the story, it's gonna go, oh, I didn't get it. It was lame movie. So it's like, what would you rather have? Would you rather have a movie that makes a lot of money, that gets a lot of positive reviews and positive acclaims? It all depends, what kind of wrestler you want to be. Do you want to be that guy that hey man, look at me, I have 30,000 followers and my YouTube channel got 1 million views? Or do you want to be that guy that has and other guys saying, hey man, that guy can work. That to me it's like, yeah, nobody really knows my shit on Lucha Underground because nobody's really I haven't really been on that much, but I know that when I talk to Chavo and Vampiro, the agents in the back, they trust me. They tell me I'm a good worker. To me, I think that's a bigger compliment than getting Vinnie Massaro doesn't have a blue check on his Twitter. That's my personal opinion.
I'll back you up on that one too, because wrestlers love to bury each other, especially in private. But even in private conversations, anytime I've ever mentioned your name, I have never heard anyone say anything other than, oh, that dude's great. I love that guy. He's a good worker.
Yeah.
That's all I've ever heard.
Yeah, I mean, would I love to have a fucking best-selling T-shirt on Pro Wrestling Tees? I'm sure, one of these days, I'm sure I will. I only have 1,500 followers, and that's fine with me, but I'll take pride, going to bed at night, and the wrestlers that I look up, the wrestlers that I think are great wrestlers, come up to me and tell me, hey man, you're a really good worker. I can't wait to wrestle with you. I can't wait to get in the ring with you. To me, I really had that, hey, check out my YouTube channel. Yeah, blah, 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 bullshit like that. You know what I mean?
Well, hey, let me ask you this. What do you got anything coming up? You got any shows you want to plug, or your friends' shows, or what's going on out there in the world? I know you hit all the Cali indies all the time, so what's haps? What's the haps?
Let's see. I think the next one I got local here is October 14th, APW. Pro Wrestling, we got Matt Hardy is going to be on it, MVP is going to be on it, all kinds of people on it. And then the next day there's a Pro Wrestling Revolution show that I'm going to be driving the Panda because the Panda doesn't have a license, so I'm going to have to be the handler.
Thank God for that, dude, because Pandas should not be fucking driving, man. Pandas and driving don't mix.
Yeah, he
I feel like that's racist.
Yeah, just because he's Asian, Justin? Jesus Christ.
Wait, now who said anything
All right,
about that, man? Racial tension is bad enough in this country.
Take a shot. Take a shot, Justin.
Justin's dying.
You're an idiot. Well, quit being an idiot.
I'm doing it on purpose now.
No, you're not. Bullshit. You've been doing it on purpose for your whole life, then, you dummy.
I want to make his lips turn blue like Sandman that one time.
What?
All right, take a shot.
It's a Fonzie story. You gotta ask Phil Alfonso that one.
You guys are fucking killing me, man. Urban, if you're watching this is for you, buddy.
I don't know.
My back is great.
But the next day, the 15th, Pro Wrestling Revolution has a show with like I said, I gotta drive the Panda. But there's gonna be other guys. There's gonna be a crazy match. It's Ray Oris is gonna go against Taurus, which is gonna be like insane.
That's awesome, dude.
Oh.
That's gonna be a good match. Is this gonna be available on DVD or iPay-per-view or anything, Vinny?
I think it's gonna be on the Fight app, but I'll have to make sure. But I mean, I'm sure I'll be taking some videos and posting it online. But I might even do some periscoping. But and besides that, I don't know. I think there's I actually have October a little bit free, just because it's Halloween, and Halloween's a big deal over at House Massaro. So we're gonna be doing that. But and then Lucha Underground every Wednesday. Please watch, and I always if you guys are ever watching the West Coast, make sure retweet my stuff or just favorite it. But or just say, hey, you're an idiot. I appreciate it. Anything. Even
Vinny will definitely interact with you. You guys got to check Vinny on Twitter at Snoring Elbow. I get back and forth with him too, especially when I'm watching on the West Coast. Like me and him will be blowing everybody's feeds up with tweets. What'd you think of this week's episode, Vinny?
Hold on, let me yeah, that's my phone. This week's episode, let's see. I knew Cortez was gonna get messed up. As soon as I saw him giving the hug, the Fredo.
Yeah, that was a very, very Italian like kiss of death, Michael Corleone thing there, wasn't it?
Yeah, I knew it was you, Fredo. That's what he did. But I mean, Rey Mysterio. I think I'm kind of excited to see Rey Mysterio, Chavo Guerrero. People ask me like all the time, like, what's going on? Who's the smoking man? Who's this? I'm like, I have no idea. You guys have been to the live tapes. I mean, that doesn't mean the live. I mean, we can talk about it right now. That live taping, it's officially, we know nothing because like you've seen the last 4 episodes. Those last 4 episodes. I'm like, wait a minute. That match was like the first weekend, and that match was like the 3rd month.
Yeah, I was actually in the audience for one of those matches, but I was not at the first weekend of taping. So like in the middle of the show, I just showed up, and Casey and Byron were sitting in a different place, and it was like.
I think it's like 6 different tapings for 4 episodes.
We moved from by the office to over by Vic.
Yeah. Like
a couple different times, I think. It's because they had to shoot Taya's stuff later.
Yeah.
Oh, is that it? I think that's just DJ doing it on purpose, so nobody, so everyone doesn't know what the hell's going on.
Well, that was happening too, but they were definitely taking scheduling a lot more into account with their bookings. So I think they would probably shoot someone out in as few dates as possible, as well as trying to confuse everyone.
And I know a lot of the workers don't know necessarily storylines. If they're not involved in them, there's a lot of workers that have no clue because those vignettes get shot on weekdays and nobody knows.
I have zero idea. I have no clue what everyone asks me I have no clue. One, because I'm not there, and the second one is because I don't want to know. I don't want to like slip up, or I don't want to, I don't want to say anything like by accident. And then honestly, the real main reason is because I'm a fan just like you guys. I want to watch it on Wednesdays, and like I'm shocked. Like I didn't know, Cisco died at the end. Like everyone's like, what the, like, oh, you didn't know that? I'm like, I don't know shit. Like I don't know anything. And because I want to, because it's a for me, I love watching it. It's like it's Wednesday night. I love watching it, and that's it's a, everyone
it does make it fun. And honestly,
yeah,
with as
sure.
many times as we've been to the temple, that stuff gets so jumbled in my mind. I may have seen a match, loved it, and it was the best thing that ever happened when I was there. But by the time it gets on TV, I don't even remember it half the time anyway. Like, I don't remember who went over, and I'm, like, surprised all over again. Like, oh, shit, that's what happened? I didn't even remember that. But that's how good it is,
right.
too. You get reinvested in it all over again.
Right, and plus too, like if I'm there and I have a match, there's a lot of preparation to go. There's a lot of things to do, and so I'm not like sitting. I'm not watching the show. So like I'll watch maybe like 1-2 matches, and then I gotta go and do, get dressed and get warm up and stretch and all that stuff. So it's, I don't watch like a lot of the matches. Like I haven't seen a lot of them. Even the ones that, like I said, even the ones that I'm there, I haven't seen them. So I'm like I enjoy it on Wednesday, and it's my it's my honest opinion when I give those opinions out on Wednesdays. Just like how Casey dislikes Sexy Star so much, because he wants her to be Bull Nakano. Now I know the reason.
I'm getting ready, Case.
Yeah.
All right.
You know what? Bull Nakano's
Right,
not Bull Nakano anymore. She's like a golfer now. She's in like the Japanese LPGA and shit. It's crazy.
Good. Look, Casey had
Go
a
ahead,
chance to
Justin.
bury Sexy Star right there and did not take it. I appreciate it. Hey,
Oh,
Vinny.
there's a whole episode recap coming up.
Oh, great. Thanks. So, Vinny,
Oh my goodness.
you were our very first guest ever on this show, and you had recommended to us at one point that we should get Evie Dub on. I never really thought it would happen, even though we talked to him a bunch when we're at the shows and whatnot. I was like, oh, Evie Dub will never come on our show. He came on our show last week. I don't know if you
That's
had
how I
anything to
heard
do with
it.
it or not, but that was, thank you for even recommending him. And you were right. He knows a lot about MMA and boxing too.
Yeah.
So we even talked boxing and stuff with him. So thank you for that. And thank you for always being an awesome guest on our show. What'd you think of the Evie Dub interview? Did you listen to it?
Oh yeah, no, I loved it. It was great. I knew he would be a great guest on your show because the first taping I was at the temple when we were all working out. I was wearing my my OG Anderson Silva Sinister Bumblebee shirt, and he was like, "Oh, I have that shirt too." I was like, "Oh, dude, then you know you're MMA. If you got that shirt now, like the new one, like the original one, then yeah, you know your shit." And plus I started talking to him, and how he worked on Bully Beatdown, and I was talking to him about I watch Mayhem, all that kinds of shit, and plus because I listened to Jason Ellis on Sirius, so I know about Mayhem, and just and then the Contender, and we're talking about Sergio Mora, and plus too he's a big fan of Howard Stern, so you can't go wrong with that.
I know. And if you don't like Howard Stern, you probably hate this show because you see the kind of weird midgets and freaks that I bring in with Byron and Casey.
Mini Casey.
I'm the farthest thing from a midget you will ever see in your life, Justin.
No, you're the opposite. You're like 6'4" and you weigh like 142 pounds. I don't even understand it.
Yeah, he's more like the Elephant Boy.
Yeah.
I'm actually cutting weight so I can fight Konnan. So there we go.
Are you trying to line up a fight against CM Punk for a payday?
Oh shit! Oh,
You'd probably win.
Yeah, typical. Anything else you guys got for Vinny before we get into the rest of our shit today?
Vinny, there was a podcast that Jack Evans was on. I don't know if you want to comment on this, but he said a quote, something about how he was just talking with as little offense to AAA as possible, but just talking about how much he enjoyed or how much he thought it was better with Konnan there. Did you hear that, or what do you think about that? Do you have any personal experience working aside from Lucha Underground under Konnan's booking?
No, because it doesn't work like that over at Lucha Underground. Obviously, I'm sure you guys know there's, they have more than just. It's not like a wrestling show where they have one booker. But from what I've read, I mean, I'm like you guys. From what I've read, pretty much what is, Konnan. It's, you guys can figure it out. I mean, Konnan goes to PWG shows. He likes those guys. He knows all of it. So I'm sure, when Konnan was in charge, you saw, Phoenix and Pentagon on top. You know what I mean? And then Konnan leaves, and then, I'm not even too sure who's even there. But I mean, you can see who's on top now. It's like, the older luchadors like Dr. Wagner, those kind of they brought LA Park and La Parca, like those kind of wrestlers, I'm sure get more praise over there, because I'm sure, I don't know who's booking over there, but I think Konnan was going more towards the WCW cruiserweight, like Rey Mysterio, Hoovy, Psychosis, the younger. So they were using, so he had a lot of Phoenix, Pentagon, Aerostar, Drago guys, Jack Evans, Angelico. But now I guess it's somebody else. And I think this new person, whoever it is, I've heard like 5 different people. The new person probably, is doing more like old school, more like how CMLL books it, just more multi-man tag matches, more, a lot of the older, the older people. But honestly, I've never been in the back of a AAA locker room, so I have no comment. But I know Konnan, and Konnan, Konnan will sit there and he'll tell me, to do a certain move because he knows the certain move. At the same time, he'll know, hey, this doesn't make sense on a storyline. Use this. So he's not, Konnan's not 100% like Spot Fest, young guys, and he's not 100% old school either. So he's like, I think he's like a really good medium in the middle, but
which is good. I think the sport needs that, because I do see it in the AAA product, and like you, I don't necessarily know what's going on there, but you can feel it and you can see that like they're going to a different kind of old school AAA feel right now. But my issue with it is not that. I love those workers, and like Wagner's work recently has been amazing. But at the same time, I want to see the backstage storyline carry over into the ring and matches that make sense. And for me right now, what I feel like I'm not seeing in AAA is just that. And I agree with you from the stuff, like I don't know Konnan, but from the stuff I've seen him do and the stuff I know he's been involved in, that psychology from the backstage segment that the writer wrote through the match in the ring to the other side of the next segment and the blow off or whatever always makes sense, Yeah. And I appreciate everybody who's putting that kind of stuff into the business, and it's hard to do. It's hard to do.
I think I will say just like one, I'm sorry. I will say one thing that I don't like that AAA does is, they anybody. I don't care about any show. I don't like when, they overbook stuff. They have, like 5 run-ins. They have, the worst thing ever I hate in AAA. It makes me cringe every time I see it is when the referee cheats for the guy. It loses the whole entire match for me. I'm like, I can't stand it. But, and the other thing I don't like right now that, is the multi-man. They do, I would rather see, like, they had Daga versus Phoenix a few months ago, and it was amazing. But then, the pay-per-view is like, Daga versus Phoenix versus Drago versus Aerostar, like 19, just like, tag matches versus, it's like, 3-way tag matches and 4-way tag matches with ladders. I'm just like, just have a tag match.
I feel like, honestly, they make the poster first. They come up with the most badass poster that they can and put people's names where they look good in writing. And then they book it after that based on how the poster looks for the event sometimes.
Posters look awesome. You're like, oh,
those posters look great.
Down.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thank you for having me on the show, and we'll talk. We'll talk again sometime, and then hey, Casey.
Yes.
Hey, so one last thing. What do you think about a sexy star going into kickboxing?
I think that let's see. Her punches, I've seen her work out and do some punches in a publicity video. I think she needs to concentrate on one thing at a time. Or it's just going to be problems.
I saw her break a wall with a punch, Casey. What are you talking about?
Yeah, like what? Like you concentrate like one, just the left hand jab. Just concentrate on that.
Yeah. Hey, you said it's all about points, right? Stick and move. That's all
Oh
you
my God, take a shot. Take a shot, Justin. There you go. Stick and move. Thank you. I knew you were gonna fuck up somehow. Thank you.
He just baited
stick
you.
And move.
Justin doesn't look so good right now.
I'm fine. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. All right, guys. Take care.
Thank you, Vinny.
All right, brother Vinny. So, let's get into, before I can't see straight anymore, let's get into this week's episode of Lucha Underground, Season 3, Episode 4, Brothers in Broken Arms.
Yeah.
Why are you laughing? What's so funny about that, man? That shit ain't funny. People got arms broken, man. What if they don't have health insurance?
It's like sort of like a pun, but like more literal.
All right, well, we're going to get back into Sexy Star because here we go. Right off the bat, she's sitting in the locker room. She's polishing up the Gift of the Gods belt. Dario comes in. He taunts her a little bit about Mac losing to Matanza, I think, and says, are you afraid for your – no, he says, are you afraid? Afraid. I can't even say it how he says it. It's hilarious.
His accent was a little like his mouth was numb this week.
Maybe. He was a little locked up. Are you afraid for your friend?
You know.
But she said in perfectly clear English, I will never be afraid again. She sounded like she was like, I don't know, from Zaire or something. It was strange.
Like the exact opposite of perfectly clear is what you mean.
No, I mean, it was like over enunciated. No, it really was perfectly clear, but it was like so over enunciated. It sounded like she had practiced it for, I don't know, days to say that one line. It was pretty awesome. Does she not speak any English?
Casey?
She said fuck you once.
That's true. I mean, she's probably in the group of luchadors that primarily worked in Mexico, spoke Spanish their whole careers, and so they only needed enough English to be able to work outside the States when they were working.
I think the person who's been working on their English the most out of that group is Phoenix, especially since he moved to San Diego.
Yeah, that's another thing to talk about. But I think let
me throw this in before I forget that if you want to hear Phoenix speak some English, go onto Hulu to Paley Center. Just search Paley Center, and you can watch the Lucha Underground panel that we were at the Paley Center. It's now up on Hulu, and Phoenix talks for a while on there. And his English was actually pretty good that night.
Did they include the part where
he addressed
Dario telling you to tighten your assholes?
No, it starts right off with Melissa introducing the panel. The whole before the show thing, you have to go to Mil Machete's page or Byron's page, and
I have that on mine somewhere. But I think props to Sexy Star for really committing to the use of the English language on this show, because she has spoken in Spanish when they were doing the Vampiro interviews, and there are some wrestlers who will speak Spanish, but it's stuff like this promo with Johnny Mundo, who also is trying to learn Spanish. It really gets her over more, I think, with the casual El Rey Network audience if she can speak in English. That being said, it's a work in progress. Casey.
What were we going to say, Case? Did we lose Casey? Oh, we lost
Casey.
Yeah, that's why you pay your internet bills on time, fool. I'm going to move on anyway because we're talking about Sexy Star anyway, so it's fine if Casey's not here. But Dario makes some interesting points here of you can keep defending your Gift of the Gods title and eventually lose it, or prove you're not a Fred. All right. I'm a Fred. I have to go. I'm a Fred.
Sorry, guys. I got lost for a second there. I just wanted to point out that Pentagon's the most over with the Lucha Underground audience, and he doesn't speak English.
No, we'll get to that too because he's got a promo that was not in English that I loved today. Yeah. So, but Dario had some interesting points here of telling Sexy Star, like, look, you can keep defending your Gift of the Gods belt, and eventually you're going to lose it, or you can foolishly try to take on Matanza, and you know, prove that you're not a threat. And but then he says, but tonight you're going to be alongside Fenix, whatever a Fenix is, and Erhosar. What's an Erhosar? and Trago. I don't know who these wrestlers are, but apparently Dario's booking her with Fenix, Trago, and Erhosar.
I feel like Justin's about to get a nice hug from Hefe at the next tapings.
I know. No, it's so entertaining. And whatever. He is so doing that on purpose. I love it. And he's so consistent with it. It was genius. And but yeah, so she's booked in an Atomicos match, and then he's afraid he has to go. Which was awesome. But Casey, what's the deal with an Atomicos match? Are there different rules for Atomicos? What is an Atomicos match?
It's a 4-on-4 match. I mean, there's different rules in Mexico that you will never see in Lucha Underground probably because they're complicated as fuck. Because like Lucha rules, when you're doing a multi-person match like that, there's captain's falls rules that either you pin the captain, you can win the fall right away, or you can pin two of the other guys in the match, and they're eliminated when they're pinned. But 90% of the time, the bad guys still cheat anyway and still participate in the match when they're supposed to be eliminated.
Yeah, don't most of those matches end when it's just like three of the bad guys tombstoning or power driving the good guy and pinning him in like a very...
Yeah, and you know,
pile drivers are
supposed to be illegal, but no one gives a shit anymore. Like Pentagon fucking package pile drivers people constantly. That doesn't count. Canadian destroyers don't count as pile drivers. But if you actually do a legit tombstone, it'll count. But if you do the King Cuerno hooked up package tombstone, it doesn't count. It's a whole bunch of things. So basically, in Lucha Libre, the rule, like sometimes just going to Mexico in general, the rules only matter when they need them to matter.
So you're saying like the old school Terry Funk Texas pile driver is banned?
It should be.
But the other ones are, every other variation is not.
And a legit Undertaker tombstone should be banned too. That's supposed to be.
Well, only the Taker's supposed to do that one.
No, but then like you also gotta factor in heel refs, like Vinnie talked about, which I'm glad is not in Lucha Underground. See, there's a lot of confusing shit that Lucha Underground is simplifying, and we're all better off for it. Is basically what I'm saying. So as far as Lucha Underground goes, Atomicos match, straight up 4-on-4, one fall, pin somebody, you win. That's all good.
Good.
Speaking
right,
of
so now I understand
what you were talking about, Phoenix re-debuted. Do you guys want to get into that? I have a little bit of a...
No, we're going to talk about the episode first.
But we're talking about We Said Phoenix.
But we said Phoenix. No, we'll get back to Phoenix. He has a whole match of Phoenixing to talk about, and he's not a Fred either. Well, let's finish. We haven't finished talking about this segment because Dario leaves, and in comes one of the coolest guys in the whole universe, Johnny Mundo. Look, I said it right the first time. That's like the first ever. I didn't call him Morrison. I didn't call him Johnny Hollywood or Johnny Nitro or.
But you're doing that now.
No, but I did the right name first this time. When has that ever happened on this show? It's like never happened.
All I gotta say is this man has horrible locker room etiquette because he goes up to Sexy Star and says, I haven't introduced myself. Look, even I know you're supposed to shake everyone's hand backstage when you show up. What the fuck, Mundo? Come on.
Yeah,
it is a little rude on his part. But he introduces himself now, and Sexy Star has a hell of a grip during that introduction. I mean, she looks like she might break his fingers.
I think it's just that Johnny Mundo has weak hands.
Does he have tiny hands?
He might be the reverse Charlotte. We never know.
The anti-Charlotte. He very well may be, in fact, the anti-Charlotte. I would agree with that.
A lot of ways.
She doesn't really speak to him. She just kind of stares him down. But when Johnny introduces himself, he says, I'm Johnny Mundo, and I'm the next Gift of the Gods champion.
But she's the current Gift of the Gods champion.
Right. So either he's got a crystal ball or he's planning on robbing her because he can't beat her in a match.
Jesus Christ, Justin.
What? What are you saying? You think that Johnny Mundo can beat Sexy Star in a match? Come on.
It sounds like Johnny Mundo figured out his path to the title since Dario shut one door. He's going to make his own way.
Yeah, making your way in the world today takes everything you got.
Because one thing that I don't think they've really hit on a lot is that when someone's name comes up on Dario's Dial of Doom, a new name goes in its place.
Yeah, I think Stryker mentioned that the second week, but just very briefly, kind of grazed over it.
I've been kind of working on
dude, it's a smart strategy, though. If you think about it, really, it's like you want to get to the title, you win. You know, there's different ways to get there. You either get the booker to give you the match, or you win Money in the Bank, or you win Gift of the Gods in the Lucha Underground case. And if you got Sexy Star sitting there, and you know she's defending the belt, and you know she can't be too eager to fight Matanza, because who would be? You know, and Mundo. Maybe even that's good for Mundo. He gets the Gift of the Gods title. He sits around and waits till somebody magically beats Matanza, and then he poaches a shot from there. You know, that's just smart heel tactics right there.
I do think that Mundo's delusional enough to think he can beat Matanza because he has specifically asked for a direct match with him before. So he very well might cash it in on Matanza because he's that crazy.
Well, he's that delusional to think he can beat Sexy Star, so why not beat Matanza too?
Oh, hold on. Casey.
What's up?
What's going on inside of you right now? How are you feeling?
Why do you ask?
I thought you were listening to Justin.
I was reading that message you just fucking sent me is what, sorry.
Well, so let's get into match one before I antagonize Casey too much anyway. Match one is Sinestro de la Muerte?
Yeah.
Muerte. Did I say that right this time?
Sinestro.
Said it better than J-Man, dude. That's all you got to worry about. The bar's
better
low.
Than J-Man?
Sinister.
Yeah, okay.
He's the sinister death.
Yes.
And Sinestro's waiting in the ring already. Didn't even really get an entrance this time.
Mm-hmm.
They do that a lot, though.
But you know what? Before this match even starts, I have to. Stryker said prime mates about the chimps. I just want to point that out. He did actually make that pun. He said that the chimps were his prime mates. Just want to throw that in there.
No, I did hear once that the excessive use of puns is a sign of a severe mental disorder, but, you know.
I've also heard that it's the sign of increased intelligence, and maybe he's just smarter than the rest of us.
Hey, all I know is me and him, we're homies in the temple because we both have master's degrees. So I can't give him too much.
You guys might be, in fact, the only ones. That might be true. You might be the only guys in the temple. Anyway, so into the match. This is going to be a match with Prince Puma, and Prince Puma has apparently asked for this match because of Sinestro's connection to Mill. So you got two guys here who are former trios champs. Prince Puma, who is obviously the first Lucha Underground champion. So these guys represent some past glory here. Yeah,
if I'm Prince Puma, I'm gonna ask for the fucking jobber skeleton to look like a big shot too. Yeah. Instead of Mil Muertes himself, I'm gonna say, hey, how about you give me Skeletor over there instead?
Well, I will say this: Sinestro, when this match started, he did not look like a freaking jobber at all. We're talking. There was some great. Flippy shit rope running going on, like just running the ropes and flipping around. These guys look great.
Yeah, man, it was pretty crazy. Some may even say it was loco.
It was a little loco, like a crazy musician, like the crazy musician, kind of crazy almost.
Mm-hmm. Made me hungry. Wanted to go to someone's restaurant.
What?
Oh, never mind, Byron. Byron's like, what?
What are you saying?
This match didn't last very long, though. Puma started to set up his big top rope finish, but then Mill ran in, and Puma kind of dodged the bullet with Mill right there. Like Mill didn't get any action in his run in, and then Puma hit a Puma driver? What was he had some kind of new like driver thing.
That's a secondary finish. I think he's only really finished a jobber with it once. Like it was a jobber match.
Well, he could have finished
like
Sinestro. He could have finished Sinestro with it, but then he chose to pull out the flatliner and rub it in Mill's face by hitting the flatliner on Sinestro right in Mill and Katrina's face. And yes, Katrina was there too. She kind of, I don't know if I saw when she entered, but after Mill did his run-in, she kind of snuck out there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what's a bad idea, you guys? Fucking making fun of Mil Muertes.
I'm not going to make fun of him.
No, why would anyone do that?
I'm not going to flatliner anyone in his face.
He's the man. But Puma definitely is working more of a grounded, more of a heel style now. A little bit,
and it's weird because he's still kind
vicious.
But he's still kind of walking a strange line. Like we're seeing definitely a tweener kind of push for him here. I don't know if he's going full dark side or not because Mill's basically a heel. So if you're in a feud with Mill, I don't know if that really makes Puma a rudo. But I mean, is there a Spanish word for tweener that they use in Lucha Libre?
It's pendejo.
Por pendejo.
Yeah, I learned some Spanish today. This week. I would have considered
behind Mill in this feud. Just saying, right, Byron? You're just gonna say that too, right?
What's that?
You're behind Mil Muertes in this feud.
Yeah, like first of all, I love Puma. I think he's great, but also, I wouldn't say that Mil Muertes is a heel. I think he's a babyface, sort of fighting from under with this whole thing with Katrina. You know, like this guy had the whole city of Mexico City just piled on top of him in an earthquake, and he's just trying to make it work now.
Yeah, he had to dig himself out, and then you got the former world champion fucking bullying him and killing his skeleton friends.
Yeah. Like he used to have like 3 other friends, and now his old lady took them from him, which is...
It's fucked up.
No, and this is a question I actually legit have. You just said that she's his old lady, and she is literally old and a lady.
Yeah.
But are they together in any way? Like, is she a necrophiliac?
No, he would. Well, can he fuck a ghost? I mean, come on.
He's actually dead and brought back. She is just.
I don't know if that element.
She's undead, and he's I don't know how you would describe it.
There's a lot of zombie wiener implications that we're gonna end up getting into, and we can do a whole podcast on that by itself.
He keeps coming back stronger and stronger.
Yeah. And every time he dies, like, his dick changes colors. It's amazing.
I thought that was his eyes, but he did look a little bit stiff when she came out.
It's both, actually. Cuerno actually
terrible. Where are we going with this? What has happened here? We degenerated so quickly. Anyway, Puma hits the dive on Mill outside, which was a pretty sick dive, and they kind of brawl a little bit. Katrina stops the second dive. I guess she just wants to wait for the right time. So
yeah,
I guess we'll just leave it at that for now.
I'm excited.
Let's go into vignette number.
Okay,
go ahead.
Well, I'm excited
go ahead.
because the first real big match, Ultima Lucha Uno, was kind of a very one-sided event, and so I'm very excited to see these guys have more competitive fights in the future.
Look, and this is a big name feud. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. That your top of the card guys, they have to be feuding with each other right now because they're not going to be at the top of the card while there's a Dial of Doom and Matanza sitting there being a monster. And you've got to find something for Mil Muertes, especially because he's the other monster in the temple. So nothing better than the guy who held the belt in his face the whole first season. I think it's a great feud. I'm just curious to see where they're going with this pseudo Pentagon or the pseudo Puma Dark kind of angle here. If he's really going bad or going rogue, or if this is just a swerve back to super babyface times or what. Yeah. We'll see. Match number 2.
I'd say embrace the darkness, Puma. It's your only hope.
We'll see if he goes to the dark side. Oh, vignette number 2. This is the I Know It Was You, Fredo, which is I actually wrote that in my notes. I'm glad Vinny said that. I actually called it vignette number 2, I Know It Was You, Fredo. It did. It felt like a Godfather moment, though Dario is not doing the Michael Corleone thing here. He's not actually saying "I know" and then letting him go off. You just get the feeling that as the audience, we know that Dario knows, but poor Cortez Castro / Officer Reyes does not quite know. But I think he kind of got the feeling. It's like,
I like how Dario blamed it on fucking Big Rick. That was great.
oh yeah,
Like
putting
when
the
he
cigar
burned out his eye with a cigar. With a cigar.
Cigar, yes, a cigar. I'll tell you what I loved the most about this segment was that you could hear Melissa's ring announcement in the outside of the office, and you see Reyes, Cortez, whatever, react to hearing his name being called out in the temple. It was great, and Dario's just like, yeah, bro, show goes on, and like he has this panicked look on his face, but the seamless cutting between what is a filmed segment in the office right into the ring. I think this is the best they've done it yet, where you have that seamless integration without having it be a segment that they're taping live in the back like a WWE would do, which goes horribly awry on a regular basis. What did you guys think of that?
I thought that was really cool. I think, I mean, you have a lot of different elements in the two different presentations. You have, you know, different cameras, different looks, and then you also have continuity things with, like, things to look out for, like the lighting might look different from inside the office than when he's outside the office, or this or that. There's a lot of
that's my criticism actually,
or that could have made it, that could have you know, been a hiccup. But I think overall, I think just it was executed flawlessly.
I thought that trying to match the lighting from outside the temple made it look like there was a police car outside of Dario's office.
There's a little bit of that, but I think a little bit of the lighting, I think the sound design really helped sell it, and I just thought it was really cool, and it being so new.
Well, didn't they also, when they made the transition, they went to a lower camera angle of Melissa first instead of the hard camera? I'm not positive on that, but I felt like whatever camera angles they chose as the immediate ones after he walked out of the office helped sell it as well, as opposed to going to a big arena style wrestling shot.
Yeah, well, that's another thing too. They stayed kind of tight on him, and they kept it. They didn't do the big arena presentation like you're saying right away, so they kept you in that small moment with him.
And then, you know, and then it cuts over to him coming out of the office anyway. So you have those shots. I mean, we're talking just shit that most people probably don't care about. But I just thought it was really cool. It was obviously something that they put a lot of time and thought into. And that's the kind of thing that is impressive, because it's the kind of thing that requires thought ahead of time.
I liked how when he came out of the office, he looked right at me and Byron with that, oh my God, I'm fucked look on his face.
Yeah, like, did you guys rat me out? I think he thinks you ratted him out.
Well, I think just he knew something bad was going to happen, and he knew that if anyone was going to know how fucked he was, it was going to be the co-presidents of the Pentagon Dark fan club.
He thinks the Guerreros are sticking together is what it is. I think he thinks you guys are with Joey Ryan. I think that's what he thinks.
You know,
what are you saying? No, white people look the same?
Yeah,
that might have been his thought. I'm just saying.
I do think it's important to kind of notice or to point out, though, that this is like episode 4, and it seems like in every episode this season so far, Lucha Underground is introducing a new element of storytelling in presentation.
Pretty cool.
And it's subtle. I mean, it's not like it's a huge thing each time, but they're just slowly expanding how they can tell the story of Lucha Underground.
Yeah, they're putting more tools in the toolbox every week, which I think is awesome. It's like I want to see them be able to tell these things the right way. And then also when one of them goes poorly, to have options, because, you know, and this is one of my complaints with the WWE product. And don't get me wrong, guys, I think there's a lot of good stuff going on in WWE these days. But the backstage interview thing, they need it for the function of storytelling a lot of times, because you can't cut every promo in the ring, but they're just dismal these days. They're so bad. And it used to be more fun, kind of locker roomy stuff, but every single time now they'll have an interviewer stand there, start an interview, and unless it's like Jericho cracking some awesome jokes or somebody like, or AJ's been pretty good at it too. Other than that, it's like so formulaic. Every time it's somebody walks up and interrupts, and then it's like the interviewer's not even there, but they're still holding a microphone in their face.
And everyone has a different eye line.
Fucking lame. Everyone has a different eye line. Mm-hmm. They don't cross shoot half of them, so you get the season 1 real world camera sway thing, which I fucking hate being a reality producer.
I don't know why.
I think WWE in their golden age or in the Attitude Era, they just got too reliant on how magical it is when you just put Rocky Maivia backstage with a pile of cocaine.
But see, even was then that wasn't a fucking pre-tape, and it is now, and it's like Rock could hear the fucking crowd cheering for him while he was doing stuff and adjust accordingly. It's just
I don't know. They're bad now. Anyway, like I'm glad that Lucha Underground has other resources available to them, and I'm glad they're expanding them with flashbacks and these cool live continuity things out of segments, and then the fact that people out front don't know what's going on backstage. It's not a part of the live show or even for the announcers, that I don't have to have the announcers explaining to me what I just saw backstage.
Yeah.
And giving me the Jerry Lawler laugh over it. So let's get into the match out of the it was you, Fredo moment into match number 2, which I like to call Pentagon Dark Ain't Nothing to Fuck With.
It's funny how Pentagon Dark and Dario were so at odds at one point, but Dario has such respect for violence.
Yeah, I mean, you can't look. There's a reason why he hasn't kicked Pentagon out of the temple. It's like he can feed people to Pentagon, just like he feeds them to Matanza. He fed people to Mill a couple times. Like, Dario's not stupid. He knows what his believers like, and one of the things that his believers obviously like is broken arms. Mm-hmm. The leg kick, like, poor Ricky Reyes is a great wrestler, first and foremost. Let me just say that right now.
Yeah.
I hope you didn't watch this episode to see any of it, however, because this is a fucking squash. Yeah. The Pentagon leg kicks looked like Jose Aldo when he tore up Uriah Faber's leg that one time. Like, I think he only got 1 or 2 of them in, and they looked and sounded so fucking painful. So painful. And then he starts slapping him in the face and hitting him with the chops, that, like, Bas Rutten style pancrase chops, just fucking lighting him up. And already I'm just like, oh, Cortez, what did you get yourself into, dude? You know you done fucked up, right?
He's not even warmed up going against the darkest demon of the temple.
It was amazing. And Pentagon was just like in rare form. You could tell Pentagon was fired up, you know, ever since he lost at the end of season 2. I think Pentagon's got a little chip on. I'm sorry. Did I bring up something touchy, Casey?
Yes.
Okay. Ever since he lost at the end of season 2, I think Pentagon's got a little chip on his shoulder, not unlike our friend Casey Nielsen here, the Lucha Gringo.
Fucking right.
So he just lit Cortez up. It was just like watching him take out months of frustration. And, you know, he hits the Pentagon driver. Is there a name for that besides the Pentagon driver?
There's the 3 up, 3 down, it's been called. There's Pentagon driver. There's just it's the package.
And Stryker uses the 2 interchangeably and also calls other moves the same thing. So discard it. Call it a package fucking pile driver. That's all you got to do. That's it. Package pile driver.
He does it running, which makes it even more of a hurts.
And that's the one that I thought was the Pentagon driver, where he runs and does the package pile driver. But that wasn't this one. This was just.
Well, that's like his half Nelson pump handle.
Right. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, this one was vicious, and he fucking spiked Cortez right in the middle of the fucking ring. And then it of course cuts to the shot of J-Man, Jimmy 5, Byron, Casey cheering on as Pentagon goes to break Cortez's arm. You guys are sick. You guys are sick, man. Why would you cheer something like that?
We just got caught on video yelling for a guy to break a cop's arm.
Well, now I will say that you actually, Casey, you looked the most reserved, where you were just kind of like, damn, this is not going to be good for Castro.
It's like, Cortez Castro, I like you, but you're not Pentagon. Sorry, bro.
We didn't know he was a cop. in the temple.
We did at that point. Yeah.
Did we?
We're just
no, I think didn't he try to bust somebody in the parking lot by then, Byron?
Well, in kayfabe, we're just people who go to the show and watch the violence, and we just see the people fight, right?
Yeah, but I think I had asked him for Captain Hotness's phone number, and he like slammed me up against the fence and handcuffed me and roughed me up a little bit. It wasn't cool.
Man, it's fucking terrible. All I know is Byron's trying to keep kayfabe right now, and
that's hilarious by itself.
It's just horrible for the show, and and everything. Because
I'm gonna take a drink because I think one of the other rules should be anytime somebody eats food while on the podcast, you should have to drink. And I just ate a bunch of peanuts, so go ahead.
Yeah,
what
Byron, you're making me wish I had some food right now, and I feel like Byron with this fridge that just has like some baking soda and like some fucking vegan ginger snaps inside of it or something. This
is the downside of doing this Google Hangouts thing. It's very convenient because we don't have to travel and drive and meet up times and all that crap. But then, it's a little tricky to get guests on. Like we had some issues trying to figure out how to get Vinny on today. And then we can't do the catering thing because if I do the catering, I'm sending it to everyone else's different houses. And I don't know about this Google Hangouts thing, man. Yeah, right. Send it to your house anyway. Screw you.
Byron needs a little more help on the food front. Those vegan ginger snaps in his fridge aren't going to feed an army.
I don't have any of that.
So then this Pentagon cuts a promo. And my Spanish is not great, but for some reason, Pentagon's promos are very straightforward and very easy to understand. This is another one of those moments where it's like, I don't need the subtitles. I know what he's saying. He called Chavo an old man, basically. Yeah. Called Dragon Azteca the equivalent of, I want to say punk bitch. A little harsher, maybe.
It's the first time they've actually censored Spanish on the show.
Yeah, but back to the old meaning of what a punk bitch really is. He kind of called him that.
If we were chanting it, he would have just called him Dragon Zero. If it was a chant. What I'm saying.
Yeah, basically. And he said that basically either's fate is going to be bones of broken, which I believe translates to broken bones. And then correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure he said he doesn't even respect his own mother. I don't know quite how he went from breaking bones to straight up, I don't even respect my own mother. But isn't that what he said?
Hey, you know what? He doesn't need to respect anybody. Are you going to ground Pentagon Jr.? Are you going to give Pentagon Dark a fucking timeout?
I think Phoenix should kick his ass. That's all I'm saying.
ReyFenix.
ReyFenix, yes. We are big fans of Phoenix here, but I'm not cheering him over Pentagon, so sorry, Phoenix.
Ooh, I really, really hope we get to see a big, long Phoenix-Pentagon match at some point in time because that would just be amazeballs. And then we'll see what Phoenix has to say about Pentagon not respecting his own mother. That's all I'm going to say.
All I know is last time they wrestled, Pentagon said "Chinga tu madre" to his own brother. So there you go.
They do that every match.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
It's like, I think they know that everyone that knows their brothers thinks that's fucking hilarious. So they do it all.
It is fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
It's also why I thought it was funny to hear because he just jumped right to it out of nowhere. Like, I don't even respect my own mother. And it didn't even totally make sense. But I understood it. It was like loud and clear, even in my terrible broken Spanish. And then, of course, he said, because I don't have any respect for my own mother because I am Pentagon Dark and I have zero fear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That'd be cero miedo to you non-believers out there who are listening to this.
I'm a little confused, but one of the tapings was on Mother's Day. He could have just had it on his mind.
Oh, I was there for that.
Yeah.
I think we were all there for the Mother's Day.
Joey Ryan was going around giving flowers to all the mothers in the audience. I wonder what he was trying to work.
Yeah. Yeah, Joey.
Yeah. Well, he might have been the father of
man now.
Yeah. Good. That's his form of the kids he's paying for.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to make up for some things last minute before him and Candace go off into the sunset, right? Isn't that who he's marrying, Candace?
No.
Who's he marrying?
It's Joey Gargano.
First of all,
yeah.
Johnny Gargano.
Johnny.
That's Joey
Hey,
Wrestling.
Johnny's from
Johnny
fucking Cleveland, isn't he? Johnny Wrestling's another Clevelander, isn't he?
I
One
don't
of my
know.
people.
I try not to keep gross things like Cleveland in my mind.
Hey,
You know what's funny? You know what's funny? Tommaso Ciampa, his other life partner, is from the Boston area, and my friends that I worked with when I did Flipping Boston actually knew they knew his wife because they worked in the same production company, and then through her knew him, and it was pretty cool because they were telling me like they'd send me videos of his matches where he would actually like really hurt people.
Wait, back to Joey's girl's Laura something. What's her name? Why can't
Laura St. James.
Dude. Check this out.
Laura St. James or Laura James or something like that, right? I'm sorry. I got why am I getting Joey's girl mixed up?
Check this out, guys. You know, Zack Ryder tweeted that he's pre-gaming for Halloween Horror Nights, and then he's got Cody Rhodes in the picture with him. Rusev responds.
Okay, that wins the internet right there.
On Twitter, you're fucking up because that guy's hilarious.
Rusev is the best.
That wins the internet for the day right there. Anyway,
Actually,
so
what really wins the internet is our show that's on the internet right now, Justin. I don't know what Byron's trying to show us. Are you trying to show us a Digimon medal? Because I was just playing Digimon.
No, this is what Joey Ryan proposed to Laura St. James after she said yes. This is at
did she kick him in the dick right after that? She should have said yes and just ball blasted him, taken the ring, and walked off.
This is at one of Gus's shows in San Diego. He proposed to her. She said yes.
Wait. If you're gonna plug Gus, plug it right. It's what is it, FCW?
FCW.
Yeah.
And Finest City Wrestling. They put awesome shows on. It's probably some of the biggest shows that you'll see. Like if you're a fan of Lucha Underground, you're gonna love pretty much everyone that you see on these shows.
And plus, Gus is a fucking great dude.
He's awesome.
Support his shit.
Gus is good people.
We sat by him once he gave us these. It's really cool. But he let Joey Ryan actually propose in the middle of a match on one of his shows. Like, how cool is that? And then she said yes. And then while she was super happy about getting married, he rolled her up for the 1, 2, 3 and got the win.
Oh, what a heel.
Always keep the victory in mind. He went to the pay window.
Yeah, you got to do it.
Time with the DDT Pro Iron Heavy Metalweight belt that's gone to his head. Now he's warped. He's always looking for the win at any odd time.
I want my fucking title shot. I almost had one.
Isn't the belt back in Japan now? I don't even think it's over here anymore, is it?
Probably. I don't know. I stopped watching once Vince McMahon's star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame won the title.
Oh, yeah, that was awesome. Hey, come on. You didn't think Vince wasn't going to put himself over even for the DDT belt.
No, but hey, if you guys are looking for that star to try to get a title shot, it's over by Hollywood and Highland. Happy hunting.
Oh,
that's
fuck
really
that.
awful.
I can't go to that 2-block radius anymore. Fuck that. So anyway, I wanted to say, look, right after this match too, Lucha Underground had a cool new graphics package. I don't know if you guys noticed this. Again, I apologize. I noticed the TV stuff, but Pentagon Dark had like this dark Japanese temple thing behind him, and it was like this cool 3D graphic.
Yeah.
And I'm just, again, we're seeing it every week. They're stepping stuff up. They're doing new stuff. And after talking to EB Dub last week and hearing that he's got, editors working from home and this, that, and the other thing, the last thing you expect to see is new graphics packages because somebody has to sit down and make that shit, And you figure if they kind of streamline this whole process that they're just going to plug and play the old shit that they've always used. But no, here these guys are doing new 3D animations and graphics for fight cards and stuff like that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. They should have that guy do the fucking lightning and soul stealing, but
Yeah. You know what? I had a whole lot less hate for the Drago breathing fire thing after we talked to Evie Dub and we kind of heard more about the whole post process of the show because it's like, yeah, somebody probably just threw that together in After Effects or something. And
plus, dude, I'm not gonna shit on bad special effects when B movies are like one of my favorite things in the world. It's like, come on, dude. You know what a big Trauma fan I am? I'm not going to shit on some crappy-looking lightning when I watch the fucking Toxic Avenger a million times. Come on.
Whenever you ask
you've seen my death. If you've seen my death scene, so you know I can't shit on bad effects.
I thought you really died, Justin. I don't know how you're here right now. I thought that acid just got you.
I was worst gag ever. If you guys haven't seen that, I'll post it on Twitter again or something. It's horrible. It's the worst special effects gag of all time. Like, the gag went wrong, and I was expecting them to call cut and do another take and fix the gag, and the director was like, we're running short on time. That'll work. And then I figure, they'll fix it up in post or do something. No, it's like this little puff of smoke comes out of my sleeve. It's supposed to be this big smoke gag, and I'm supposed to be, like, burning. Just like,
oh, dude.
And I'm screaming like a little girl, just hilariously awful.
I was at Monsterpalooza, and I went to the Full Moon booth looking for that movie. And not only did they not have it, the guy that was running the table, who actually was the director of Sorority Babes and the Slimeball Bolorama, he seemed kind of mad that I was asking about it, like it was the Scanners movie that they don't talk about or something. It was pretty funny.
Well, that is true, because the star of the other 5 Trancers movies, Tim Thomerson.
Yeah, Trancers. I said Scanners. I'm sorry.
No, but he's not even in this one. He's in it from old clips, and I think we had him do like a voiceover for like 2 things. But it is actually this girl, Zette Sullivan, who was in some bad, Skinamax B-movie version of Palmetto. And that and this are probably her only 2 credits. And she stars as Jack Death in this one instead of Tim Thomerson. And this is a movie that Helen Hunt was in Trancers 1. Yeah. And in Trancers 6, you get Zette Sullivan and me. So it's clearly a degradation of the quality of the overall product by the end of the series.
It is not included in the box set. I do have to let you know.
It is, I believe, and it's on the flip side of Trancers 1. There's a version, basically to re-release Trancers 1 after Trancers 6 came out. They released a double-sided disc. This is the one that they sold at or rented at Hollywood Video and Blockbuster too. Trancers 6 is actually on the backside of the disc, and I think it just says it very small on the cover, like, bonus, an entire movie on the flip side of this disc.
Oh, shit, I should have bought the set.
It's messed up. You can just borrow my copy. You don't want to own that.
Our friend Kevin did us proud and bought a life-size Blade from Puppet Master replica.
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. We had to go put it in my car for safekeeping, like, right after that. It looked like he was carrying a baby through the convention. It was great.
So they had a big old setup for Full Moon?
Yeah, they usually do at Monsterpalooza. Well, at Son of Monsterpalooza, they usually do. Which is kind of weird, because that's the smaller of the 2 Monsterpaloozas, and they don't show up for the big one.
Interesting.
I saw one of the Puppet Master movies, and I think was there like a Hitler puppet trying to travel through time and kill more people?
Yeah, they were selling this replica of a kamikaze puppet that was supposed to be it was the most racist puppet I've ever seen. Kind of not cool.
Kind of not cool?
No, like I saw them, like, you guys are selling this here. It was made as like a World War II Asian stereotype on purpose. But it's like, what made you think you would mass produce this as replicas that people would want to buy? I don't know. Like, it was pretty bad. And then they had a Nazi puppet that they were selling too. That kind of had like the gun bra from Machete, like that was kind of her puppet gimmick. And then they had Blade, which is what Kevin bought, and it glows in the dark. It's pretty fucking cool. You got to go. Oh, and they had a 6-shooter with the 6 arms. He was awesome, but he was more expensive than everyone else.
See, I would want that one, and of course it would be the most expensive one, right?
Yeah, my favorite one is Torch, probably. The one that's got like the bullets for the teeth and then the blowtorches for the arms. I was always partial to him. I think he's pretty cool, but they didn't even have a replica of him. Not that I would have bought it, because that shit was pricey.
All right, for anybody who's on Twitter, here's the death scene that we were talking about. I'm posting it right now.
Perfect.
Oh, God.
Perfect. I got to talk about Monsterpalooza. Woo, what's up? If you guys didn't go, you fucked up. If you're in the Burbank area, you should have gone.
What is it? When do you want to go?
Dude, we got to go to April. It's going to be at Pasadena Convention Center. That's the big Monster Palooza. It's fucking huge. Yeah, it's like Scare LA, but different stuff.
I don't know where.
You know where your film exhibited a year ago?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Byron had a film?
I had a movie that played at Scare LA last year.
It's the last Transformers movie with Donnie Wahlberg and Byron.
Oh, see, that makes perfect sense.
And Byron dies.
Don't give away the beginning.
All right, let me jump back into this episode.
Good match.
Let me jump back into this episode because we got match number 3, Atomico's match with Super Friends versus Super Friends with what's her name?
Doesn't matter.
It means I gotta. It doesn't matter what your name is.
But she's also one of the Super Friends. She's the 4th Super Friend.
Yeah, she's the shitty Aquaman of the group.
Oh, come on. She's sexy Aquaman. I love those Halloween costumes, too, where it's just like, it could be anything, but it's got to be a sexy something now. You go to the costume store, and it's like, oh, what are you going to be for Halloween? Frankenstein, but I'm going to be sexy Frankenstein. Like,
dude, okay,
is that?
Check this out. So I worked at Halloween Town in Burbank for a couple years. Shout out to my bros over there. Go say hi. Tell them Casey sent you. It's on Magnolia. Fucking, there's a sexy Chucky costume. It's not Tiffany.
What?
Like, okay, like if you wanted to be, like you think you would just be Tiffany, right? Because isn't that her gimmick? But no, sexy Chucky is a separate costume from Tiffany, the bride of Chucky, which you think that would be the sexy Chucky costume. No, sexy Chucky. The world's a fucked up place.
And wasn't that what's her face, Jennifer, the hot actress that plays poker now? What's her name?
Lawrence.
Jennifer Tilly. She was she was bride of Chucky, Tiffany.
Yeah.
But no, sexy Chucky's a different costume. So you're still
so messed up.
But you're skanky Chucky.
Like,
that's what it is. Halloween is just a chance for women who all year long have not wanted to show that they're skanky to actually show that they're skanky. That's what this is now? Why is Halloween degenerated into this holiday?
All I know is that, like, there's some fucked up costumes out there, man. Like, there's this one that you're like a prisoner, right? Like fucking nails. Like you're wearing the orange bodysuit and shit. And he's got a boner. And it's called the Department of Erections.
Oh, that's just horrible.
That's a good one.
Wait, so is this where Sexy Star got her gimmick? She was like down in Mexico and she was like, I want to be a star, but I want to do it like Halloween style and be a sexy star?
You know what? All I know is that skirt that she wears in the ring and shit, it's just like those shitty, sexy Ninja Turtles costumes that they sell.
Whatever. Now, one thing I will say for Sexy Star is her ring attire is awesome. Like, I don't think it's too salacious or, you know, like just trying to be sexual or anything like that. But I think her ring attire always looks good. I've always liked the stuff she comes down in.
Well, that's fine for you, Justin, but I'd rather she was not on my television at all whatsoever. But she was in this. She got a little bit potatoed in this one, you guys.
She took the double knees in the corner from Taya, which is a deadly move for a reason.
Yeah, it's also a move that you're not supposed to flop around and move when someone's hitting you with it, or you get potatoed in the face.
Now, come on. Are you think that she moved, or do you think that Taya sent that one in a little bit stiff?
I think that Taya, having been a victim of people sending things in a little too stiff, wouldn't do that to another person.
Well, I'm going to say this. Because I think this is a little bit of one of the actual problems with intergender wrestling, because I think Taya's out there and she's going super hard and strong with the guys, and then the match switches up and all of a sudden she's going with the other luchadora in the match, and she sent one in a little bit hot. I mean, it looked like it was a receipt for something.
I think that also has to do with there's a little bit of the gender issue, and then there's also the issue that Sexy Star is more of a soft worker, more of a safe, soft, and slow worker than the other guys. I think if Taya was going up against another luchadora like Ivelisse or Mariposa, who, you know, a little bit more physically imposing, you wouldn't have that sort of different levels of aggression. But Sexy Star definitely is not one to trade stiff knees in the corner.
Well,
Or
I
here's
couldn't tell. I mean, I should go
This
ahead.
is the real theory, okay? Taya saw, okay, where was this move? It was in the corner, right? How do you get in the corner? You got to take a fucking turnbuckle. So Taya thought, well, I'm gonna have to send it a little bit to make this look good because she just went into the turnbuckle and completely exposed the business right before that. So it's like, I don't want people to see this move and go, God damn it, that turnbuckle sucks still while I'm going into the move.
You guys see what's happening here, right?
Casey, I don't. I think you're just talking stupid, but I think I'm just being redundant.
Well, now, but look, no. A second before that, Taya did have to double hit one of the ropes because to get the timing right when they were running the ropes right before that.
Oh yeah. No, but I'm fully aware of all of that, and I agree that Taya has to kind of work.
And they left
what
that
she's
in. They
working
left
with.
her little reset. They left Taya's little reset off the rope bounce in there.
But I don't think she's stiffing Sexy Star. I
No.
think they both work together a lot at AAA. I think they both.
Yeah, I don't want to
have
accuse.
respect
I don't
for
want to
each other.
accuse Taya of sending something
No,
in. That,
honestly, though, I
don't think they have any heat together. So please don't start any rumors.
I mean-
Taya and Sexy don't have any heat.
No, and they're both victims of the fucking Apaches stiffing people they don't like in AAA, and Taya got her fucking nose broken by the Apaches just deciding to shoot on her. So there you go.
Yeah, but Taya didn't complain about it. Everybody else complained for Taya, but Taya never said shit about it that I ever heard. I heard that Taya had no problem with that fucking match.
Speaking of, Sexy Star got her face broken pretty early in this match, and she still worked a large portion of it afterwards.
Yeah, they had
Very
Sexy
commendable.
face in peril in this match, which she's no Ricky Morton. Let's just put it that way.
Well, I mean, she also has half her face just blowing up. She can't see out of her eye, and who knows if anything got broken or whatever. Especially in a moment, you don't know how bad it is. And she didn't tag out. She still did all of the work.
And she stayed in, and the finish was basically her catching an extended beatdown. Like the middle of the match went into, your standard Lucha Underground match that you expect and love, which I love. People start doing the dives. There's a bunch of people on the outside, kind of bedlams going on. And the match finishes up with Taya comes back in on her, and they work together some more. And Taya was stiff here too. She was throwing like the Cesaro style European uppercuts and beatdowns and running back and forth again and again. It was just like, and then she pulled up lame on the outside, and I don't know if I saw what happened there. Why did Taya pull up lame on the outside?
I think she missed a dive or something.
Yeah, she busted her knee somehow.
Yeah.
I didn't quite catch it. I might not have been looking right at the TV when it happened, but then I looked up and I saw her holding the leg.
I got you. It's the Sexy Star match that you're probably taking a piss, bro. Like you're just time to drain the lizard.
Terrible. It was weird though, and I wasn't at this taping, I don't think, so I didn't know if this was a shoot or a work, or I don't know if you guys know, but was she okay?
No, I didn't even notice it happened at the tapings, and I didn't notice Sexy Star's face being all fucked up at the tapings either, because I think in this match we were sitting closer to the announce table. Like I was sitting over by.
Well, and there's a lot of action going on outside the ring too that people don't understand. That whole time that Sexy Star was catching the beat down in the ring. Yeah. You've got reasons that the other workers in the Super Friends on the outside, there's fighting, and PJ Black was beating up Drago and a bunch of stuff you don't see on TV. I imagine.
I think this might have been when Jack threw a kick at me. Actually,
I'm sure you deserved it.
He just wanted us to move, so he threw a couple kicks at us, and I think.
Well, anyway, let me move on because I don't want to stay on it too long. But in ring, Jack Evans went over on Sexy Star, so she did work the whole rest of the match. He did the crazy flip over. That's the Star Destroyer?
Star Destroyer Jack Evans. There we go.
Love it. Star Destroyer Jack Evans. That's the new name. Vignette number 3, I like to call this one Another One Bites the Dust. Sinestro might be sorry, but Katrina says he's failed her for the last time. And with little fanfare, Katrina breaks his neck, sucks the soul out of his body, and spits soul dust all over Mil Muertes to power him up. And then she tells Mill that she basically wants him to go and break Puma's neck.
Yeah, she said,
standard.
I want you to do the same fucking thing to Prince Puma, which is, that's not.
And then she licked Sinestro. So right after that, she licked Sinestro. So does that mean she wants Mill to go and lick Puma?
She said exactly the same thing to Prince
Puma. You have to take her as literally to her word as possible.
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, not that I'm in the habit of arguing with really hot women who are 197 years old. I know how to respect my elders, but I don't know if I would want to go out and lick Puma.
Hey, wrestling's rough business, bro. Sometimes you got to do what your manager says. Like if they say, go out there and lick Prince Puma, you got to do it because she's like Bobby Heenan. She's looking out for his best interests. There might be a reason to lick him. Maybe he tastes good. We don't know.
I mean, you got to feel bad for Sinestro here. He didn't even get the lick before he was dead. I mean, she broke his neck first, stole his soul, and then licked him. That's just rude. I mean, that is just a slap in the face. That's horrible. Yeah. That's one of the most heelish things I think I've seen Katrina do. Normally, she'd lick them and let them know that their time is up. But, damn, that was just rude.
Well, she made him mad, dude. She's like, you're the jobber skeleton. You have 3 souls in you, and you still can't beat Prince Puma.
I'll tell you what, though. I was a little disappointed by this because I loved the segment last year. Sorry, I'm eating some food, so I got a drink. But, I love the segment last year where Sinestro, powered up by killing the other 2 guys. And I was hoping that we would see, this powered up, super Sinestro this season. But, nope, he's just dead. I don't know why, and I like the worker behind the mask, too. We won't get too into it. So I hope they give him another gimmick of some kind. I hope he sticks around because he's a good wrestler.
I hope he gets something very soon, on the next episode.
We'll see. You must know something I don't know.
That the funny thing about this is that he probably had his best showing on this show that he was written off of,
Yeah, it happens. All right, well, let's jump into our last match here because I don't want to stick on this for too terribly long. We're almost through this thing. And I want to get to the last segment because I'm sure Casey's got something to say about this last segment. But the match 4, or as I like to call it, refs should wear masks. Daj, my boy Dragon Azteca Jr. versus Chavo Guerrero Jr. with Rey Mysterio Jr.
Yeah,
as ref.
It's still awesome
the winner
to see.
Has to fight Pentagon Jr.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the winner's a loser, but the loser's also a loser.
It's still so awesome to see Ray in the ring, though. I
liked Ray. I love this gimmick with the seeing a ref in the mask. It made me wish that other older retired masked wrestlers should come back as refs. It was kind of cool.
I know that there's some refs that probably should have been wearing masks. It would have been great to have Nick Patrick wearing a mask when he was doing his thing.
Yeah, especially when his dad was a wrestler that was famous for wearing a mask.
Yeah, but what if you're pretty Justin or Little Nate?
Yeah, when you're pretty like Justin Borden, you got to keep that face on television. I agree.
Kidding. So Chavo did his thing here. This was super solid. Chavo, love him or hate him, if you weren't following his ring psychology through this match, I mean, I just don't know. I don't know what you're into in wrestling. Every moment, again, with Chavo made sense. The guy is just a great worker, right?
He's great. I mean, he did the old school, Chavo thing where he doesn't do anything too flashy, but he still had that one incredible catching a dive and slapping Dragon Azteca Jr. into the railing, which
that was dope.
that was awesome. Great. But that's also this guy's been around a long time and he's old school, and yet he's still incorporating the new culture of providing moments for gifts in matches.
But here's the thing that I love about Chavo too is when he slows the match down to do a rest hold, he's still getting the crowd fired up. He's still looking around. He's taunting them, and it's these other guys, and I watch these matches where they're doing rest holds, and on WWE they have to do rest holds all the time. I don't begrudge them that. It's a 3-hour show, especially on Raw. You're gonna have rest holds, but they do them and they don't get the crowd fired up. They don't interact. They don't keep the psychology of the match going or the story. Chavo, if Chavo's got somebody in a headlock, he's like pointing to people in the crowd. He's talking shit, or he's talking to the guy, or he's arguing with the ref, or he's doing something to keep you invested in the spirit of the match and the psychology that's going on.
Yeah, Chavo's
so
great at
simple.
that. Chris Jericho's great at that too. With the ask him. But yeah, Chavo's great. We're not getting like fucking Chinlock City bitch from Randy Orton.
Yeah.
You know? Fuck Randy.
The Dragon Azteca had some good moves too, like we're going for the Undertaker rope walk, except with Dragon Azteca, it's a double hop up to the top and then jumps down and then springs off the second rope back up to the top, and then they just do an arm drag at the end of it. But it was still amazing. It was really nice touch. It was like the Lucha Libre Taker walk, rope walk, but new style. I liked it. It was fun.
I love stuff like that, man. And like Dragon Azteca Jr. is so great, and I still don't feel like we've had him showcased to his full potential here.
I agree.
Ray Horace work.
Right.
But it's only a matter of time. And, hey, maybe he'll bring it with Pentagon. I don't fucking think so. I think Pentagon's going to murder him, but, whatever.
I mean, I feel bad. I'm very curious to see what happens there. I feel bad for him because
how much is Casey going to cry if Dragon Azteca Jr. does go over on Pentagon, though?
If he just does like a
your homeboy Daj, fucking da JJ, he's not gonna fucking win.
What if he does like one of those like 3 flips in the air, does a lucha arm drag, and then pins Pentagon for the 1, 2, 3?
I mean, think about it. They're kind of setting something up here, Casey. It's like he already got squashed by Pentagon, and then you see Pentagon in this episode squash Ricky, and what could happen, which makes me feel like that's not what you're going to see happen to Dragon Azteca Jr. Like, there's going to be something else at play.
We've already established that Dragon Azteca Jr. is Pentagon's bitch, and now he's going to fuck him like one.
We'll see. So let's talk about the finish real quick, because this is another part where the finish, psychologically, Chavo, all day long, sold this fucking finish. This is a finish that I could have seen in a lot of other wrestling promotions, and I really, honestly would have been mad at it. Like, really? That's the fucking finish? Really? But the way that Chavo was selling it and arguing with Ray, and they escalated it to the point where Ray felt like he had to take something into his own hands. And Chavo, it started with Chavo insisting that Dragon Azteca Jr. tapped in a moment where clearly he did not tap, which was just classic. Yeah. Chavo. It was so awesome.
It is good shit. That is a Guerrero move right there.
Yeah.
And, oh, God. This finish, though, is great because it sets up Ray versus Chavo, too.
Yeah.
And they've had awesome fucking matches together, like those I Quit matches that they had in WWE. Or the one. Yeah. It was fucking awesome. And the one where, like, Ray was hanging upside down and he started smacking him in the leg with the chair and shit. Just fucking great.
It was great. And I mean, they built it up till they get to the move of all that happened was Ray hit Chavo with the forearm shiver or whatever. And then Dragon Azteca hits, what was it, an electric chair? I don't even know. An electric chair roll up.
It's a victory roll. He got him.
It was, but it started with an electric chair and then it went into like Hurricane Rana victory roll.
Yeah, it's all good.
It's an old school. It's old school Rana. It's what Ray used to do all the time too. When you hop up on someone's shoulder, spin around, and do the quick Rana with the leg hook. That used to be one of his finishes.
And now Chavo has lost to it from a different person than Rey Mysterio.
Great.
Rey Mysterio's work, because that was a fast count too. It wasn't just a Rana. That was a fast fucking count.
Well, yeah.
Patrick, take notice. If he would have done that count, Hogan versus Sting, Nick Patrick wouldn't have tanked all of WCW with his shitty refereeing.
Yeah, that was the moment. That was the moment that everything died for WCW and TNA.
That was it right there.
Oh, shit. Did somebody buy TNA yet? Because
we'll get to talk about that in a second. Let me finish this last segment. Oh, and of course, for the crowd to not go home crying, we get the 619, a little booyaka to end it off, keep the crowd happy and going out hot. And credits roll and the show's over. Wait, show's not over. Black Lotus has been on vacation, as Dario said. She's obviously in Hong Kong or somewhere not around here, but Dario did say that she was going to Hong Kong, so I'm going to assume that's where it is. I'm not being racist, Casey. That's a quote from Dario. He said Hong Kong. And, you know, she's talking to – who's she talking to, Casey? Her
parents, spirits.
Right.
She was making an offering to them.
It's like
she
some
said
kind of Shinto Buddhism offering thing going on there, right?
Yeah, because she said she fucking killed the guy responsible, but now she wants to take it to Pentagon.
She said that she killed the guy responsible, but the mask got away, which we're referring to.
Yeah. Dragon Azteca.
The Dragon Azteca match or mask. So there's also continuity here.
Yeah, because he's a grave robber, Dragon Azteca Jr., and took a mask off of a corpse and put it on without even fucking washing it first.
Hey, you know, the mask has power, man. You want that. What's that, a Lucha Libre tradition?
Yeah, it's Lucha Libre tradition.
To grave rob mask people? No, it's not. Damn it. But anyway, we saw some.
And then
we saw some mask people.
Yeah, she says, but now she's going to send the Black Lotus Triad to show Pentagon Dark what fear really looks like. And up steps three, I'm not going to say this incorrectly, 3 figures, wrapped faces in black that look like they might be professional assassins in the night. Where's Sho Kosugi when you need him, Casey? What are these guys? What's going on?
Well, first of all, I appreciate everyone not using the N-word to describe these people. They are not ninjas.
I always appreciate it when people don't use the N-word. I hate it when people use the N-word.
Because a lot of people on Twitter are like, holy shit, it's a ninja. We're going to get ninjas in Lucha Underground. First of all,
I said that too. I have a tweet with 14,000 hits on it or something that said ninjas. So I'm sorry, Casey. It was me.
First of all, an Asian person wearing a baklava doesn't make them a ninja, especially when they're wearing leather jackets and shit, okay? First of all. Second. We already have a ninja in Lucha Underground. His name's Pentagon Dark. Jesus Christ, people.
What's up, my ninja?
You know that's what white people say when they want to say the N-word, right? In front of...
They say ninja. They say go ninja, go ninja, go.
Yeah, are you talking about an old boss here, Simon?
I'm not talking. What?
Huh? Don't you work with a guy that knows something about ninjas? What's up, ninja?
I don't have a boss that uses that word.
You know what's funny is we got him to watch Lucha Underground by saying there's a skeleton ninja, and he's like, "Fuck yeah, sign me up."
He loved it. Oh no, he's not my boss, but he loved that, and he loved Angelico because he's a BMX guy. He loved Angelico doing the big drop kick in that ladder match.
Well, you know, Angelico's always worth.
And I may or may not have work as a professional ninja on my resume doing commercials for KarateMart.com. That could have been anyone in that mask, but yeah.
I'm telling you, look, these are going to be ninjas because, sadly for you, Casey, I think the intent, regardless of accuracy, was for them to be in fact ninjas. I believe that when DJ wrote this, he ninjas.
All I gotta say is this took place in Hong Kong, and ninjas are Japanese. So what's up?
That's true too. That's true. But dude, ninjas are international assassins these days, man. They're everywhere.
All I know is I wish that Sho Kosugi was in this, and if he ends up being limo guy, all of my money.
Look, Casey, all I'm gonna say is you can't keep my ninjas down.
You know, this. Let's just say I know what this is leading to, and it will be can't miss television.
Well, it better not lead to a ninja getting shot in the temple for not doing anything and minding his own business. That's what I'm saying.
Well, all I got to do is say keep an eye out for Joey Ryan. That's all I got to say. Or maybe Cortez Castro, because, you know, with one arm, he might have to bring a gun with him, and you never know. You never know.
Yeah, I don't know. We're going to see, because Cortez had this great angle going and all this stuff going, and now he's going to be...
Well, he's not dead. So
he's not dead.
I wonder what Captain Vasquez has to say about what happened to him.
He'll probably,
Captain can say whatever she wants to say.
Just stay in the fucking hospital, take some time off. She already told him multiple times, you're off the case. You're off the case.
No, but now
But now he's back in on her real side, and we know that she's got half the amulet and that there's some bigger things at play. She's brought him back in for real now. So
Is he
it's
gonna
a real fight? So end of days, it's her job to prevent the end of days, and Cortez is on her side. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, well, maybe she needs to come to the temple and get her fucking hands dirty instead of sending people to get murdered and arms broken.
Well, I think Cortez is going to go back to her and say, I think I got figured out because my arm's broken now. And she's going to be...
Now,
like,
do we know if Carmen has ever worked? Does Carmen wrestle?
I don't say she has to wrestle. I mean, she's just got to go in there and, you know, maybe bust a cap and jefe or something. That would happen, but... You know, maybe she can tase Matanza or something, you know?
And honestly, that's one of the things that we haven't seen yet. I think it would be cool if she did actually do a spot in the temple. And let's have some of the acting and the vignette stuff spill over into the ring. Like, we have it go the other direction. Let's have, you know, Renegade show up and do something in the temple.
Yeah. I like how you're thinking, because that
increases Hotness show up.
That increases our chances of meeting Lorenzo Lamas.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, and Carmen Perez, both of them, come on down, hang out the temple with us, shoot something in the ring. All right, so that's this week's episode. What do you guys think on a scale of 1 to 10? What do you guys give this episode?
Pentagon was on and he fucking won it. Fucking 13.
All right, not biased at all. Okay, Byron, what do you think?
I was gonna give it a 10 for the Pentagon match. No, I thought it was a good one. I'd say probably 7 or 8. You know, it was really good for an episode that was kind of just cruising. They still delivered a lot of interesting things, but it wasn't. It was like a lot of stuff being set up, kind of.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 7. I'm gonna go 7. I think myself. You know, at this point, and maybe this is unfortunate, and maybe this is kind of what Vinny was talking about before, I feel like the WMD match so far this year set the bar so high. And not just that match, but the vignettes that were in that episode too, with the medallion, the amulet or whatever, that set the bar really, really high. So I have to rate that clearly higher than an episode like this, which I loved. I love this episode. But I hope that Lucha is not doing themselves a disservice when they have these really stellar episodes. Like, that was like, for a regular episode that wasn't an Ultima Lucha, that episode was like a 9.5. So I gotta
say something about next week. I don't know if you guys saw the listings for next week's episode, which
what's going on?
It says that Evil East gets a new love interest, and that the Rabbit Tribe debuts next week.
Well, I'm always happy when Evil East is on the show and Rabbit Tribe.
And
well, we've pretty much deciphered at this point that Paul London is Rabbit Tribe. I mean, that logo on the back of the jacket in the trailer clearly is a rabbit or a rabid squirrel or something. But that's got to be the Rabbit Tribe, right?
Yeah, and we, from going to the tapings, we know who Evil East's love interest is, and I'm really looking forward to that debut. So.
Interesting.
Yeah, and this is gonna be a big show to not miss. And the other thing, from having gone to the tapings, we know that they topped the WMD match, and that's awesome because we know that's not like the peak of the season. Like, we know that, like, everyone else might not.
I don't necessarily know that, though, because I don't know when or if that stuff's even going to air. There's been entire matches that have never aired. You know that, right?
Yeah, but I mean, that the one that I'm talking about, that's definitely.
But there's also stuff like, you know, the preview for next week. There's really cool stuff going on, but the stuff like the fallout with Cortez, like, you really want to see where that's going, because that's kind of putting them up against not only Dario but Katrina, and then you also have this triad situation, which that's going to be the next step of that is going to be a really big deal. And it's just, there's a lot of really big stuff that they just hinted at for this week.
Well, I know where I don't even know some of the ones that Casey's talking about, but I know where the Cortez one's going, and you guys don't know that one. That one will be really good for everyone to see too. I think you'll enjoy it.
The cool thing is, you know, the ends, but I think I was there for the middle and you weren't.
Probably.
Yeah.
There's some lead up that didn't make sense that I just, you know, I just went with it because you're at the temple. You don't know what the fuck's going on. You're like, oh, shit.
Yeah, so it's kind of cool because, like, the parts I saw were, like, really good, and it sounds like the parts you saw without telling us were good. So this is going to be fun.
Yeah, and I never told these guys either. I just kind of teased some of it, too, which is great. That I can't wait for it to actually air. So I can be like, that's what I was talking about. And because they don't know. I try not to give spoilers too much, you know, to any, even to my buddies that are going to be there the very next week.
Yeah.
I did not give them spoilers from that weekend.
We take
so
our
anyway,
very seriously on the Triple M show.
Now, Byron,
Yes.
what's going on with TNA? Have they been sold? Do we know?
Well,
give us the lead up. What was the story with TNA this week? And I'll do some searching too here.
So,
Yeah,
I mean, I don't see anything new right now. I think the deadline today is by end of business hours because basically TNA cannot afford to pay for their show on Sunday, which is their biggest pay-per-view event of the year, Bound for Glory. They got Cody Rhodes. They got a lot of big stuff. There's a lot of cool stuff that's going to be going on. This big Hardys versus Decade, that's going on. It should be actually a lot of fun if they can actually put it on. They can't afford it unless they sell the company. Like, this is the point where the company has to be sold.
Well, wait, doesn't Billy Corrigan, like, can't he just, like, take his jukebox money and buy the company?
Well, Billy Corgan's trying to buy it. There's another company that's trying to buy it. Basically, TNA's been floating on loans from Corgan, who is a partial owner, and another company. And Dixie Carter is just being a horrible mess about it if you read the reports. But basically, the problem is TNA owes more money than it's worth. So if you're going to buy, like, you're going to buy WCW for $3 million, you might owe like $5 on top of that to everyone. And so they're trying to, I think they're trying to figure out how to buy the company without procuring all or most of the debt that comes with it, so they can keep running it smoothly.
In business terms, from what I was reading in Forbes and from the business side, because I always like to look at the real numbers of these things, the ultimate goal for another company would be for WWE to purchase just the tape library assets of the company, which is, I believe, what they're willing to do. They're willing to pay a pretty penny to get that library. I mean, and TNA is still even using, you know, some of their best money-making revenue right now is of stars that are not in the company, that are other places, because they have this great life. They have all of AJ's stuff, you know, and all this.
AJ and Joe are former figureheads of TNA, and they're champions over WWE.
Yeah, and I mean, and then they could also, you know, like, burn all the Jeff Jarrett footage, and I'm sure Vince would be very happy about that, and probably a lot of other people as well. But
no, it's something to put on the network. It's more shit.
I think the rumors about WWE being interested, though, I think they've lowballed. I don't think they're that interested. There was another report that basically that was getting a little bit of traction because what is it?
Yeah, but from the Wall Street side and the real investment people, like the wrestling business people, are saying that WWE is not interested, but the real investment people that follow WWE very closely are saying that 100% that is false. WWE is absolutely still interested, but it's because what the wrestling people are hearing is that WWE does not want to come in and save the show this weekend. They could give a fuck about the show this weekend. What WWE wants is that tape library. So all the wrestling marks out there that really think WWE is out of the picture, guess again. They are not. They could very easily partner up with somebody else. If somebody else wants to buy the company, that may even happen. They may force them to change the name, and WWE may want to buy just the library. And that may be a way that somebody could buy. Like Billy Corrigan might be able to save everyone's jobs and give everyone a show to work on. But to do it, he might have to sell off the tape library and change the name.
Well, anything that happens, there's either going to be no TNA because, like you said, there's no way WWE needs to buy TNA and keep it running.
Right,
They don't need that. But if it goes through and Corrigan can buy it, and that's what he's trying to do, he's going to rebrand. Like any smart person buying the company,
See, that's what I don't understand.
But then why buy it if that's
Because you have all their business deals, you have all their TV deals, you have all that infrastructure. It's just you're going to put a new. It's like a soft reset.
Look, that might be what it needs. It might really need that at this point. Like maybe turning over the marquee out front is really the way to jumpstart it. Like if you're interested in making a new product, if you're not interested in the history of what the product was before, you know, and sometimes that works. I
don't know, dude. Like, help me with this. Why like the TV deal isn't that great of a TV deal?
But
it's Destination America. Why don't you just let the company die, poach the talent you want, and start your own fucking company?
Because it's so much harder to start from scratch, like Jeff Jarrett's been trying to do with GFW. You know, it's so much harder in TNA for all the things against them. They're not putting that horrible of a product on. I mean, I'm not watching the show, and I still kind of know what's going on. I still know about EC3 being the man. I still know that the Hardys are, they're the top trending story in wrestling. And I didn't know anything about Decay, but now I know about Decay because the Hardys are putting them over. And, all this stuff, there's stuff that's going on that's good. There's stuff that's bad.
But are you watching every week? Do you even get pop?
I mean, I'm not going to watch TNA because the brand is not good. I know not to watch TNA, but what I'm saying is the work being done, all the stuff below them, behind the brand is good or decent, for wrestling. So, put a new shine on it, put a new name, and then you have all the stuff that's working. They'll try and fix some stuff, but
that's how much reach they don't have, though, is because Justin just said, do you even get pop? I literally just referred to it as Destination America still, completely forgetting that they were on fucking pop, which is even worse.
Well, they've been getting worse and worse TV deals, and it's really bad. But I think it's easier for them to work their way back up from where they're at now than to start from the ground.
See, what's crazy, though, is like if I'm a crazy money mark, I'm not buying the company and saving it. I'm going to poach talent, and I'm going to buy their equipment that's going to be on a fucking fire sale because they're going to have to sell all that shit off.
If they even own it, they might be, well, down in Orlando they might, but they could be renting a lot of it. I mean, Lucha Underground, for instance, I saw they have VER stickers on most of their cameras, which means they're renting most of their gear. Yeah. They don't even own that shit.
I mean, like the ring they have to own, it's all branded with their shit, or maybe not. Maybe they just have
you could sell rings, but it's also like, you look at why they ended up where they're at, and it's because a lot of bad Dixie Carter decisions, a lot of bad Vince Russo involvement. Like they lost the actual real TV deal, I think, on Spike because they kept hanging on the Russo. And whether or not you like what Russo does, when the people who pay you to make a TV show don't want you to hire him, you don't hire him.
And then they find out because you fucking emailed the wrong person by accident.
Yeah, it's like all these things, like basically you remove all these components that poisoned all these TV deals, and then you try and get some good momentum moving forward with Billy Corgan. I think they can rebuild back. I don't think it's going to be easy, but I think you're removing the elements that put them on a shitty time slot or whatever on pop that no one sees them.
I got to say, I feel bad for the people that might lose their jobs because of this on the production side. I feel bad for the wrestlers that are going to have one less place to work, maybe, especially one less televised place to work, because there are a lot of people that we're watching in WWE right now that would not be where they were if it wasn't for having their shot in TNA, like your Joe, like your AJ Styles. And that's including the fact that AJ Styles was in WCW. No one fucking remembers it, but he was.
Yeah.
But it was TNA that made him. And Joe, he did a lot of great stuff on the Indies and in Ring of Honor, but his fucking matches in TNA were a big deal for me. That was my favorite part of the company.
That's where he got on TV. That's where he got his exposure.
Look, it all comes down to this. It's really, at the end of the day, it's on Dixie Carter.
Yeah.
She's mishandled the company in the past, and then she's dug it out. She's made mistakes, and God bless her for trying. She's put bookers in charge that she's had to then take out of power and had fights with. She has constantly tried. But I got to say that she's also consistently shown that she just doesn't have the same business savvy that a lot of other people in this business have. She's overreached at times when she shouldn't. She's made bad deals with talent and TV and booking. Like, she's part of the reason why the WWE deal and some other deals that they could have taken a few weeks ago to keep the doors open, she didn't take. And now she's looking at poor Billy Corgan like, fix it. And he's like halfway trying to be loyal to her because, you know, she brought him in and let him do a lot of this stuff. But at the same time, she's his biggest obstacle to doing what you can tell the guy really wants to save these workers' jobs. It looks like he's really in it for the right reasons, and yet his hands are fucking tied here.
For the first time, also,
sales before.
At the recent tapings they were doing, she wasn't involved or running them, and she was more of just like a figurehead, whatever.
And the shit's better, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. And that's probably a big reason why it's getting better. But I think part of that is leading into her being so difficult with what's going on right now, because this is her, whatever it is, like she's losing the dream of being, you know, Dixie Carter, the owner of TNA. And it's just, she's acting irrationally. But I don't know. I think ultimately, you know, they were building up momentum. I think they were putting on a cool alternative product until Hogan and Bischoff came in, and Matt Hardy said something about that.
Right.
Matt Hardy called them a poison, that said like they're the ones that killed TNA, and then I think Bischoff was threatening to sue him. But I think if you went into court,
those guys, their gimmick is tired. It's like, you know, you're coming in and big ball and takeover thing. That was done, man. That was the Monday Night Wars. It happened. You did it. It was good then. You can't do that in every company you come into anymore.
Well, you have AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, and Chris Daniels, Fallen Angel, putting on this incredible three-way match. You have Nigel McGuinness and Kurt Angle putting on these great matches. It's putting them on the map. You're seeing guys you're not going to see in WWE at the time. And it, to me, like, that's what I wanted to watch. I didn't care about WWE. And then Hogan and Bischoff come in, and all those guys are gone. They make AJ Styles dance around like he's Ric Flair, and then they put makeup on Samoa Joe and have him get kidnapped by ninjas.
Yeah, which is when I absolutely stopped watching the product altogether.
Honestly, it went downhill for me when Angle came in, because I was loving the product when Samoa Joe was on top and he was doing all this stuff.
Clearly went downhill for Angle when Angle came in too, because he got addicted to like 700 Vicodins a day at the time. I mean, like, he's admitted how awful.
I think it was on that road before.
But you got to remember, he was the one that they had beat Joe.
No, but Angle himself has said that it got worse when he went to TNA because everyone was drinking booze also. So when he was doing the WWE stuff, he was mildly popping pills and probably too many of them to get through. But then the whole point of going to TNA was to not have the in and out work schedule all the time. But here he is fucking boozing on top of 80 Vicodins. Like, Brett Favre looked like his issue with Vicodin was nothing compared to Kurt Angle's.
Dude,
I mean, TNA almost killed the guy.
It was a whole big deal, though, with Samoa Joe's undefeated streak. So you're like, all right, like the Undertaker's streak, they're going to have to do something really cool that's going to be like a star-making moment for whoever beats Samoa Joe. Instead, they got a WWE reject, even though it was Kurt Angle and he was a big fucking deal. They got him to be the guy that beat Joe. So all that said was, no matter how big you get in TNA, WWE is always going to be bigger. And they're saying that on their own fucking product.
Well, at the end of the day, you know, what may happen, it might be what's happened to other companies, is WWE might eat them up. The problem for WWE is they don't need the TV deal. They'll probably have to break those contracts. But WWE could use some more talent. They don't need these guys, but they could use them for sure. And it might be a good thing. I mean, they've got the brand split now. You know, you throw in a Lashley and an EC3 and Bennett and a couple of these guys, like, there's places for them. I don't know how well the Hardys would fare at this point in time. They might be better to not take a deal and go out on the indies and make that money, because I think they probably make more money doing that with a better schedule. But who knows?
And Hardy's selling a lot of gimmicks right now on Pro Wrestling Tees, because he has like 9,000 fucking shirt designs.
There's no way that
I would
Matt
go to
Hardy,
Ring of Honor if I were him. Like if I were Matt Hardy and this whole thing went through and he could get out of whatever deal he had, I would go to Ring of Honor if I were him. Just sell merch, work his lighter schedule, travel less. I wouldn't deal with this other bullshit.
Well, there's no way that he would be able to do what he does in WWE. And like I saw Matt Hardy lose to Kevin Cross in Vegas a few weeks ago. And, that just, that shows you that like he's working really hard to get himself over still and to keep himself fresh, but he still has the right mindset on the business.
Well, and I'm sure they also paid him a shit ton to come in and fucking let Cross go over on him. I'm sure he got paid just fine to go and do that.
Yeah, but it's just.
And he was their interim champ at FSW for a while too. Like he came in, I think, when Cross wasn't able to work and did some stuff for the company, and then they did the blow off thing with the two of them. Anyway, let me move into some other news. We'll see what's up with TNA. And as far as I know, that whole thing could be done because I believe there was some kind of Friday deadline to figure it out. I don't know. I had heard rumors that some of the plane tickets for talent were getting canceled, and then they weren't. So who knows? If there's a pay-per-view on Sunday, then you'll know. Or do they do theirs on Saturday?
It's on Sunday, but they have to have it in the bank by the end of business. I don't know, but that's just what I read on the internet. So
yeah,
who really knows?
Like the pay-per-view people are either going to cancel it or run with it probably by today. So,
I bet they've been in this situation before, and the show will go on just fine.
Hey, man, I remember those old ECW days of like, they were trying to figure out their first pay-per-views and what was going on, and like if they were going to pay talent or what, because pay-per-view you make the money a long time later.
Yes.
You don't make it day of. So Heyman's got like booked all these great people on these things and he's got to pay them, and he didn't have a pot to piss in at the time. And, and of course Joey Styles wasn't going to show up unless he was paid in advance. So, he's got top guys getting paid in advance and then bottom level guys he doesn't know if he can pay at all who are out there bleeding for him. It's just a hot mess. And I'm sure TNA is probably feeling the same way. All right. So I'm going to talk Invicta. I don't know if you guys watched Invicta or not. You guys probably didn't because I don't think you got Fight Pass. But if you guys out there watched Invicta, it was another great card. The co-main and the main event were title fights that were highly entertaining. I felt a little bad for Jin Yu Fry. I don't know if you guys saw her fight or not, but she was winning the first round. And in the second round, she got hit in the eye by what's her name, Osaka or whatever, the Japanese girl, and busted open immediately right along the side here. So it wasn't above the eye, it wasn't in the eye, it was on the side. Mm-hmm. Got busted open nice. It was a good one. Like she's bleeding good, but she wasn't losing the fight. It wasn't bleeding into her eye. It wasn't splitting open more yet. It's on the side, and the ref immediately calls in the doctor, like. It was it wasn't even a break in the action. Like he stopped the action and Jen was like turning around to start throwing fists again. And the ref stopped the action. They call in the doctor and out of nowhere, the fight's just stopped. This is a goddamn title fight. It's for the belt, for the 105 atomic weight title in Invicta. And the fight was just stopped, and it was stopped very strangely and slowly, and the cut didn't even look that bad. It wasn't bleeding down into her eye. They came and doctored it up. And once the cut man comes in, because they're not allowed to doctor it during the round, they brought in the cut man, and that was when I was like, oh, my God, they've stopped it. The announcers didn't even know if it had been stopped yet or not. But the cut man was in there looking at it.
This is what we call the fucking Kerry Von Erich Ric Flair finish right here.
Yeah, like just stop from blood or whatever. Like it's fucking MMA, and I know people have a hard time with it sometimes. They're young women, they're attractive young women, and you don't necessarily want to see them get hit in the face. But she's a fucking pro fighter. She signed up for it. I'm sorry, Jen's
the
great.
Job description is getting hit.
It's the job description, and I hope that she's livid. I hope that she's pissed. I hope she protests it. It was a bad stoppage, man. It was just a straight-up bad stoppage. I don't like seeing that. Don't get me wrong. There's times to, come on, you guys remember Robbie Lawler's he looked like Predator. Like his lip was split and he had like a triangle mouth by the time his fight was done. Yeah. He kept fighting and with half his lip hanging off, cut a promo at the end of the fight. Come on, people. How many times have boxers gotten gashed open? Gloves tear. They tear your face. You get
You
stitches.
don't stop the match because of a cut. You stop it because someone's bleeding over their eye and they can't see.
Yeah. Or you ask them, like, can you continue or whatever. I saw nothing where Jin said that. I just thought it was unfortunate. And I feel like it was a very sexist decision. I feel like because she's a pretty young lady, they stopped the fight because she got busted open. And the ref couldn't stomach it. It's like, well, man, maybe you shouldn't be a ref in mixed martial arts.
There you go. I agree, Justin. There you go.
I just think the whole thing was jacked up. So I'm going to move on. And Roxanne Martifari against Maya in the other belt fight. Roxanne put up a good fight, but she just didn't quite have it in the later rounds. And she did not win, even though it would have been cool to see the Happy Warrior get a win. She didn't win. Going into I don't even know where to start. Did you guys watch this press conference? Please tell me you watched it or saw some of it.
I was just seeing clips. That's it. But they were good clips.
Clips might be good enough. I mean, the whole show was a fucking hot take. Amazing. So if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, UFC 205 is going to be at Madison Square Garden. This is going to be the first legally sanctioned full MMA regular rules fight from a major promotion in New York. UFC and a lot of people spent years, we're talking about since early 2000s, trying to get MMA legalized in the state of New York. It was the last state in the entire union in most of the world. We have other countries begging to have the UFC come to them, and New York for years was like, no, we don't want that here. We don't want that here. And it was ridiculous. It was all politics, mobbed up bullshit, this, that, and the other thing. Doesn't matter. Legalized now. This is supposed to be the first event. So the card has been coming together super slow. I mean, this fight's in 6 weeks or something, November 12th. Yeah, like 6 weeks from today. And the card still hadn't come together, and there was all this speculation going on. And at the 11th hour, they finally put together this card, and it's fucking ridiculous. This is the sickest card that I can remember in a long time. And honestly, other than maybe 2 fights, every single one of these fights could headline at least a Fox Sports 1 card. Like I'll tell you the 2 fights that couldn't headline a Fox Sports 1 card. I'll do that because it's easier than telling you all the ones that could. Lyman Good versus Bilal Muhammad couldn't headline an event. And Liz Girl, she calls herself Gorilla. I call her Girl Uriah. Liz Carmouche. Versus Caitlin Chukagian, those 2 fights could not headline something. That's it. And those are both on the Fight Pass prelims, I believe. So, ridiculous card. You're talking Eddie Alvarez versus Conor McGregor for the lightweight title. Tyron Woodley versus Stephen Wonderboy for the welterweight belt. Joanna Jędrzejczyk, Joanna Champion, versus Karolina Kowalkiewicz. I think I said it right, finally. For the strawweight title, like the Polish power bout. You've got Chris Weidman now, who was instrumental in going out and lobbying to get MMA in New York, versus Yoel Romero, and that could get one of those guys back into the title shot. You've got Cowboy Cerrone versus Kelvin Gastelum at 170, which is good because these guys are going to throw down. Khabib Nurmagomedov actually accepted a fight. He's going to fight Michael Johnson, and he was pissed that he didn't get the Alvarez fight, but he still took a fight, which is awesome. Miesha Tate versus Raquel Pennington. Miesha Tate, former champion. She's not even at the top of the card. She's on this thing. I bet she's going to be on Fox Sports 1. Then you got Frankie Edgar versus Jeremy Littlehaven Stevens. Good fight there. Tim Kennedy making his return to the octagon, the G.I. Joe himself, the action figure, versus Rashad Evans at 185 pounds. Rashad's coming down in weight. This is a guy who fought on The Ultimate Fighter at heavyweight. He's down all the way at 185 now. Then you got Tim Bosch versus Rafael Natal, and Jim Miller versus Thiago Alves. Fucking sickest card in history. I don't even know. Like, craziest card. Oh, Lucha Gringo's back. I don't even know if you heard the whole card.
I didn't. My internet shit the bed or something. I don't even know what the fuck happened.
It was really good.
The card is crazy. So they line all these guys up on the stage this week. And, of course, it's going to be the Conor McGregor show. I'm thinking that Conor's going to take some shit because he's facing Eddie Alvarez, who's a Philly guy, but Philly's closer to New York than Ireland, and Eddie is definitely an East Coast guy and would probably normally get a whole lot of love. No. Every Irish pub in New York City apparently led out directly into the Madison Square Garden ballroom where this event was being held because Conor was getting pops all the time. The first question to Conor was like, UFC sold for $4.2 million. How much of that are you worth? And Conor's like, looks around, he's $4.2 million, or $1 billion. Like, yeah, I'm worth all. That's me. I'm this whole fucking game. And the whole thing just degenerated into awesomeness. Conor says like he feels like this at 155 is the weight that he'll take over, and he predicts a first round knockout of Eddie Alvarez. Eddie's telling him to be careful, like be careful what you say, and Conor's like, What are you gonna do? Shut your fucking mouth. He said, I run New York. This little guy, this Irish guy, he comes into Madison Square Garden, says, I run New York. I run this whole shit, and he gets a pop for it. What?
He's going to lose. He's going to lose. It's okay.
But who even cares? I mean, it's like, think back to your favorite wrestling feuds of all time. Like, did you really care when the blow-off match happened? Or was it all about, Rowdy Roddy Piper cutting that promo on Hogan?
I don't know. You want to ask me? You want me to start talking about Ultima Lucha Dos again?
Well, but think about it. Think about how awesome it would have been if Pentagon had cut like some huge, awesome promo right before it, too. You know what I mean? It's like,
true.
And honestly, what made Ultima Lucha Dos good as a show was the promos and the stuff that came after his match anyway. And that's what this is. I mean, this might be better than watching the fucking fight. Like, people, go to UFC.com and watch this press conference. It was ridiculous. Conor's telling them the Irish built this friggin' town, and now we're coming to claim what's ours, and that's a dream come true. The Irish love New York, and I'm honored to be here. And then he gets all humble, and I'm honored to be here. Like, so fucking amazing. I also tripped out that Tyron Woodley got booed. Wonder Boy, kind of his second home is New York, but it was strange to see T Wood get booed. He's recent champion, and no one's got love for Robbie over him in New York City, and T Wood's been cutting great promos. I'm becoming a bigger and bigger fan of Tyron Woodley every day. Helwani got a question in. The whole crowd popped as much for Ariel Helwani as they did for Conor almost, which is amazing to see. I love to see that the journalist is getting over, especially after the troubles that he had, because that's going to, I think, solidify his position more over time. Then here was the biggest surprising thing, and I want to know what you guys think about this, because this was the news to me. Conor McGregor starts saying how stupid Eddie Alvarez is because Eddie took the fight with Conor without getting a bump in pay or renegotiating his contract.
Ooh.
And I got to say, Conor's right if that's true. That is stupid. Like, this guy's not in your weight class. He's calling you out. Khabib Nurmagomedov has already signed to fight you. Which, don't get me wrong, if I'm Eddie, I don't want to fight Khabib either. Fuck that. Go with the money match first. But it wasn't even a money match for him.
Yeah, he's not getting money. That is dumb. Because, okay, yeah, like, I've got Eddie winning this fight, but if you're not getting paid for it, who gives a shit? You know what I mean? Like, he's still going to have to fight Khabib eventually, you would think.
Or El Kukui or one of these other guys, or Michael Johnson's looking vicious now after his last fight. Like, he's in a murderer's row at this point, but I can't even understand that. Like, did you not just see what Nate did?
Right, Nate
just changed his whole fucking life by fighting this guy. You're some bum from Philly who's worked his way up through Bellator and like been scraping his way up the ranks here in UFC. You're the fucking champion now and can actually command a little bit of respect, and you don't ask for
all the experience he has with getting fucked with contracts.
I don't get
Yeah,
it.
anyone should have people renegotiating his shit and keeping an eye on.
I don't know who his management is or what, but like I just can't understand, you know. And he says, you know, his excuse is, oh, Conor's the easiest fight for me in this division. Why would I bother to take more money? Blah blah blah. That's excuses. Like that's just ridiculous to me. And I know it's a huge card, and UFC's shelling out a bunch of money everywhere else, and UFC is always going to say at first, no, take what you're getting paid.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's your responsibility as the champ. Maybe he really felt, maybe they were really playing hardball with him and they weren't going to give him the fight. And they were like, no, if you want more money, maybe we'll give you more money to fight Nurmagomedov, but not Conor. Like if you want the Conor fight, you do it at your regular price. I don't know. But somehow it sounds like Eddie just got the fucking shaft here, which means, in my opinion, Conor's already won the fight. Because
he's won financially. Fuck.
Yeah,
he's going to make so much more money even if he loses.
What does Conor care? Conor said that he stands to make, $40-50 million this year. It's a $40 or $50 million year for him, he said at this press conference.
It's like, is it been crossing six figures?
Yeah. Like, I doubt it. I think if he's got a regular champions contract, maybe he gets 80 and an 80 of win bonus, and maybe he gets some pay-per-view points. But yeah, like overall, I don't think that Eddie would even break, $300,000 or $400,000 for this fight, and Conor will probably walk away with like $10 million from this fight.
Well, at this point, how much does it matter who Conor fights? Don't they? I mean, do they just need like a broomstick to stand in the octagon with him?
I think there are certain fights that will make more money. Like I think him fighting Eddie Alvarez on this card makes more money than if he fought Jose on a different card. I just think that the interest is higher. Don't get me wrong. I still think you do Bafo numbers, but I believe that this card, if it stays intact this way, will be the biggest UFC. It will top his last one. It'll top 200, 100, 196. It'll top all of those, I think, very easily. And I think you're in a 2 million buy range with this pay-per-view if it stays intact. Because it's New York. And right there, you have a huger level of interest from East Coasters alone. Then you put Conor on there and the T-Wood fight and the Joanna fight, the 3 championship belts, real fights, not interim titles. And if they stay intact, those are big fights. Wonder Boy is a star in the making. T-Wood's a star. Joanna Champion's clearly a star. And then you got all this other star power on the card. You got, Weidman, who's a New Yorker. Then you got Frankie, who's a Jersey guy, but he's a surrogate New Yorker. I just think it's a huge card. It's huge. It's amazing. Then now there's repercussions to some of the stuff. And the other stuff that Conor said was great. Somebody asked him, the best part was the ending to the whole thing. Somebody asked Conor, like, who of these guys up on the stage, these champions, these tough guys up here, who do you think could beat you? Jeremy Little Heathen Stevens pipes up and says that I'm the guy that would give him the hardest time. And starts talking all this shit on how he's the guy that would beat Conor up because he doesn't just TKO people, he knocks them out. Conor just looks back and he's like, who the fuck is this guy? That's it. He just totally no-sold him. And then, to add insult to injury, he no-sells everyone else, too. He doesn't then say, oh, Jose or maybe Cowboy or anything like that. He says, no, these guys got nothing for me, so I might have to wake Floyd Mayweather up out of bed and make some real money. And the face-off was great, too, like Eddie starts calling Conor's belt the toy belt, the little kid belt, which is funny because it's the 145-pound belt. But Eddie, I'm going to say this, Casey, I know you're thinking Eddie's going to win. This press conference, I feel like Eddie was shook. You should go and watch this thing because it might change your mind. And if you see Conor standing next to him, Conor's actually larger.
Huh.
He actually is. Because, in my mind, I'm thinking Conor is a 145er or whatever, but Conor is bigger than Eddie. And I didn't imagine that. I thought Eddie was bigger than him. They stand side by side, and I was just like, damn, I'm going to have to really look at this fight to see what I think. Because if Conor can get his boxing off and can keep Eddie from laying on him and doing the wrestler thing, Conor's got a great shot in this fight.
I just got to say that last week's guest, Eric Van Wagenen, producer of Lucha Underground, picked Eddie Alvarez, and so we're both in.
I agreed with him last week. I'm telling you, this press conference, it really changed my mind. You should watch it, especially the end with the face-off, and it's just like, damn, I don't know. Eddie looks a little bit shook. Eddie's responses were a little bit off. He didn't seem all that confident, and say what you will, press conferences can get in people's heads, man. And it's one of the things that Conor does well. And if he can get in Eddie's head, that's a big part of the game. Then the weight cut is the next big part of it. And seeing how guys show up to the weight cut, like I don't ever place a bet or really lock in my picks for a fight until the weight cut. There's been times where you've heard me say stuff on this show, and then I'll see the weigh-ins, and I'll go and change it. Now, it's getting a little tricky because they do the weigh-ins earlier in the day, the real weigh-in, and then they give us this fake weigh-in later. But even seeing how the guys, after they're rehydrated, how they've rebounded, and if a guy is not cutting weight and they face off and he's still shook, I'm telling you, man, there's something to it. There's something in this sport where gumption gets you just as far as technique sometimes, where the willpower and the mindset and the proper mental preparedness can really take you just as far as, having a jiu-jitsu black belt. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have that also, but once you get to a level where two guys have that professional level skill to be in the UFC, if one guy's head is screwed on a little bit tighter than the other guy's, that can really give you the advantage. So we'll see. I mean, I feel like, and as rich as Conor's gotten, he still goes out there and bangs. Like, he doesn't need the money anymore. Mm-hmm. You expect that to be a guy who starts to phone it in, but he still went out there and fought his ass off with Mendez, and he fought his ass off with Nate both times, and I don't know. We'll see.
He's a prideful man. He's too prideful to do shit like that too, though, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting your money's worth, because the second he goes out there and you don't, that's when his earning potential goes away.
Yeah, for sure. This weekend, there's also a UFC. It's on later, I think, because they're holding it in Oregon, I think, Portland or something. But it's there's not a whole lot of fights I'll talk about because most people probably don't know them. Let's see, what do we got? The prelims, the FS2 prelims look for the Hakran Diaz versus Andre Touchy-Feely. That fight will probably be fireworks. I'm a big fan of Feely, but I think that number 12 ranked Hakran is going to grind it out on Feely in the third round and probably win a decision. This one's a trip. On the Fight Pass prelims, the headliner of the Fight Pass prelims is Nate the Great Marquardt.
Wow.
Fighting.
Wow.
Which is crazy to me. For one more shot, kind of at 185. I don't even think I know who he's fighting, but
he's fighting the dude with it looks like a normal sized person with a midget head. The Barn Cat, Tamdan McCrory.
Oh, Tamdan McCrory, yeah.
He looks like a midget.
Now, in the past, I would have picked Nate hands down, but Nate might be getting to the point where he's past it. So I don't know. He needs a big win here to claw his way back into the rankings. I'll pick him just for shits and giggles, but we'll see. Then let's see. I said the Diaz touchy-feely fight. I think the next one that I'm interested in is probably Louis Smolka versus Brandon Moreno. I think Smolka gets this one by submission. I think he'll slide in one of his crafty submissions. These are little guys too. These guys are not going to knock each other out, but they'll throw leather for a while. And then I think when it ends up on the ground, Louis Smolka gets the fight, gets the win with a submission. He's just got they've both got the same amount of fights, I think, too. But Smolka's faced like way harder guys in the past, and I think he can pull it out. Let's see. Then you got Josh Berkman versus Zach Otto. Otto he's a last-minute replacement. I don't remember who was supposed to be in this fight, Bobby Green or somebody, or I don't even remember. But I'm gonna pick Zach Otto in this fight, believe it or not, over Josh Berkman. Josh Berkman's a solid journeyman, but he's got miles on him now. He's like 29-13, and I think the fresher, younger guy with some excitement and some focus can take him. That's just me. You think I'm crazy on that one, Case?
I don't know, man. I'm not going to certain fights that I don't think I know enough about. I'm not gonna give anyone any advice because I think people might have bet against Cyborg last week because of what I said. You know, still, we did say it was a gamble, and you told people not to listen to me. It's not my fault.
Yeah, but dude, if they had one, and honestly, it wasn't a bad fight. That girl put up more of a fight than I thought she would.
She lasted 2 rounds. Hey,
you know, but at the same time, like, dude, if you had won that bet, you'd have been paid.
Yeah. You would have got. You would have got $1,200 for every $100 you bet. That's good money.
That's a big margin. Ill Will Brooks is on this card. Former Bellator star, and he's been working his way up at UFC, and he's facing off against Alex, the other cowboy, Oliveira, and I think this is the perfect test for Will Brooks. You know, he's going to have to put everything together to get the win over Oliveira, who is really well-rounded. He's good everywhere. Oliveira is a UFC fighter, and for Will Brooks, this is a test of, like, can you go in and beat just a standard UFC fighter that's got some wins, got a couple losses here and there, but is a tough, real professional, hard fighter that can take it to you anywhere in the octagon. So I think Will does win this fight. This is a perfect co-main event for a Fox Sports 1 type card to me, of two guys who really have something to gain. I think, of course, Will, I think, has more to gain than Oliveira here. But this is a good test for him. This is like the real deal. And then, of course, the headliner, my boy John Dodson versus John Lineker. These guys, if you don't know, are two of the hardest hitting guys out there, and they're little. Yeah. These are tiny people. And they have knockouts. Like, usually in this division, these divisions, you know, they were both fighting at 125 for a while. You don't see knockouts. Now, this fight would have happened a long time ago, but Lineker had a little trouble making 125. And by a little trouble, I mean he missed that shit like 3 times. And they basically forced him to go up to 135 if he wanted to stick around. So this fight was, I think, going to happen a couple times at 125. Now we're seeing it at 135. Dodson is moving up. He had 2 cracks at DJ and just couldn't solve the puzzle of DJ, even though he's probably equally as good. But I love this fight. And don't forget, Dodson spent time at 135. He beat TJ Dillashaw to become the Ultimate Fighter, and that was an 135-pound fight at a UFC. You know, so he's no stranger to it. And Mayhem Miller, by the way, was his coach on that season, because it seems like Mayhem seems to be a reoccurring theme on this show.
Because he's so fucking great. He makes news wherever he goes. Yeah,
that was him and Bisping. Like, Chael Sonnen was in his very unreliable phase back then, and it was supposed to be Sonnen versus Bisping as the coaches. And then Miller started Twitter beef with all of them and said, you know, Sonnen's not going to show up, and when he doesn't show up, call me. And sure enough, they did. He ended up being announced as the coach when I think Sonnen wanted to go and do other media stuff.
Nice.
Anyway, I think Dodson is going to get a TKO in the 3rd round. I think Lineker is looking a little bit muscular to me right now, and I think he's going to gas. And I think Dodson's going to take it to him in the 3rd round, get a TKO, maybe ground and pound style TKO. We'll see.
Well, both these guys are badass. This is going to be a fucking war, probably. This is going to be a fun fight to watch.
Yeah,
and I'm on free television for all of us to see.
I think that's the thing. It is going to be fun. And I think these guys are both going to swing for the fences, especially in the 2nd round. I think they're going to feel each other out in the 1st round. In the 2nd round, I think they're going to swing hard, kind of like some of that shit you saw Conor doing in the first Nate fight. I think Lineker is going to do that, and I hope he's not listening, because then maybe he won't. But then I think he's going to gas himself out. I think he's going to punch himself out.
I do know that Lineker is a big Lucha Underground fan and hates Sexy Star, so he probably is listening right now.
Wait, that means I got to do this again, you son of a bitch. Hey, Byron.
What?
Hi.
What'd you think of WWE this week?
I didn't
watch
it.
SmackDown, by the way. Oh, you didn't watch this week? What do you think of the pay-per-view then?
I watched most of the pay-per-view, and then a Roman Reigns match came on, and I fell asleep. I'm like, I'm going to rest my eyes the rest of this match, and then I just fucking donked out and didn't even see the main event.
Are you the one that he was asking for his opinion?
Yeah, but I'm the one that the listeners were asking for.
Yeah, Casey was live tweeting the shit out of that I missed the very beginning.
I have stuff to do on Sundays.
Dude, the beginning was the best part. You got to see Nia Jax fucking murder Alicia Fox in her ratchet-ass wig.
Oh, God, I went back and watched that one. That was awesome. That's the kind of squash match.
I did watch the show. I just remembered. I think overall WWE pay-per-views are improving because there's less matches to just skip by default. Although once you get like a minute or two into a match, you still want to skip them. But overall, I don't watch anything Monday or Tuesday, and I feel very happy with my life choices.
Yeah, I have a feeling this Raw, if it hasn't already been announced as the lowest rated Raw in history, it will be. It's against the presidential debates.
Yeah.
It did like an 80 share or some shit, so come on.
I have to admit, I watched the debates. It was I ended up watching Raw on Hulu, but the debates, man, those were some of the best promos cut all year in wrestling.
Yeah. Well, you know.
What did you think about them putting the U.S. title on Reigns, though?
I don't give a shit.
Really? I mean, Rusev, what do you do with Rusev now?
Rusev doesn't need a belt. He's the man.
Yeah, Rusev, that's what happens.
Everyone knows Rusev is better than Roman Reigns in every aspect of life. His wife is probably even hotter, you know? So Roman Reigns can keep a belt, and he can cry, and no one can like him, and whatever. Rusev will always be the true champion of Raw.
Yeah, he's the U.S. champion in all of our hearts.
That's still Harley Race to me. I'm sorry.
Mine is Nikita Koloff. I like Nikita Koloff. He was better.
I love Nikita Koloff. I remember I was a kid at some like store, I don't know what it was, but they had magazines there, and I think it was PWI or some shit, some dirt sheet, and I remember looking through it and seeing during the his feud with Vader, I saw, and I was like big into this, watching it on like Saturday night, and I saw them reporting with a picture that Vader won their latest fight after punching Nikita Koloff in the dick and then rolling him up for a pin, and I felt so bad for him. Like, come on! That's not fair. Vader is an asshole.
Wasn't Big Papa Pump the U.S. champ for a long time when they had nothing else for him?
I mean, that kind of became the bullshit belt for a while, but like, I don't know, like Luger, when I was a kid, Luger seemed like he was U.S. champ for fucking ever.
Ever, for a long time. Like, he held it for like 2 years or some shit, right?
Yeah, and it's like, you know, okay, most of the matches he had sucked, but I swear to God, Wrestle War 91, he had a match with Dan Spivey that I think even Meltzer gave it like 4.5 stars or some shit. And you're like, seriously, fucking Dan Spivey and fucking Lex Luger, two guys that you think are going to have a shitty match. It was one of the best fucking matches I've ever seen. It just all clicked. But that was like one of the greatest wrestling cards of all time. If you guys watching have not seen Wrestle War 91, check it out.
That sounds like something to do. I'm going to try to watch the rest of Mr. Robot today. I think Byron's trying to do the same. So
I'm Luke Caging the shit out of the rest.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I want to watch Luke Cage, so I got to finish Mr. Robot. I'll be so lost if I try to do them both at the same time, and I haven't watched any of the new American Horror Story, and it feels so out of place. But I'm still really stoked from the Emmys this year. Where Orphan Black, a show that I love, Tatiana Maslany won an Emmy for that. Fucking Rami Malek won for Mr. Robot. Sherlock won an award, and I thought that was a really good, like, they only did one episode this year, and I thought that was really good. Like, shit that I actually watched for the first time in years, and Game of Thrones won a ton of shit. Like, shit that I actually watched won Emmys. It makes me feel like Lucha Underground could get an Emmy now. Am I wrong?
They should be nominated at the very least. The new stuff they're doing in season 3 visually should really get some kind of cinematography, some sort of
there should be a sports entertainment category where you throw in, you know, like a couple of things. It doesn't even. I don't even know if it would need to just be wrestling, but you could throw in a sports entertainment category, like put Dancing with the Stars in there. I don't care.
Fucking Ninja Warrior or something.
Yeah, like American Ninja Warrior, some of the wrestling shows or whatever. There should be a sports entertainment category for an Emmy, I think. I mean, WWE would probably run away with it, but maybe Lucha would have a chance. You never know.
Jeez, come on, Justin, come on.
Yeah, but people vote for stuff they know. You know what I mean? That just happened. Well, maybe not with the Emmys this year. I didn't think Orphan Black had a fucking chance. And that girl plays 8 or 9 different parts in that show. And I swear to God, when you're watching it, you forget it's the same actress.
Right. And it's crazy because I'm thinking with the Emmys that all of the old people that used to vote old people ways are dead. And that's why, like, good shows are getting nominated now, like, legit.
Maybe. I mean, and maybe I have too much of an Academy Awards hangover because it's so old and so white at the Academy Awards that I can't even stand to watch it. And I was just shocked by the Emmys this year that, like, the nominations were good. The shows were good. Like, I watched that whole OJ thing, too, and the OJ thing won a bunch of awards, and I think those people deserved it. I thought it was a great award show. Anyway, I'm talking about shit that doesn't even matter anymore. You guys got anything else to talk about? Wrestling, Lucha Underground, fighting?
WWE 2K17 looks dope. There's a lot of videos out. Just be friends with me on PS4. Turn your career invasion on so I can fuck you up in your game. It's Lucha Gringo on there too. If you need
Lucha Gringo on the PS4.
Yeah, I'm Lucha Gringo on the PS4. Byron Fever on the PS4 over here is available if you need a squash match jobber to just fucking destroy and steamroll like Alicia Fox.
What I like to do is I like to set the game on easy, and then I like to just spend a half hour power driving someone outside the ring, and it makes me feel better about my day.
I like to play on Legend because I'm a real man.
Damn. It's like that. Well, I still have an Xbox 360, and I can't even play the new fucking XCOM game, and I am the biggest XCOM mark in the world, which is really, really sad. I'm like the only person that even cares that the new version of that game's out, and I'm not playing it. So
if it makes you feel better, the reviews have been kind of
Right, but I wouldn't care. I'm the only person that's going to actually like it anyway. They made the game for me, and I'm not even playing it because I don't have a next-gen system.
God, the old one was so fucking dope. Oh, shit. Original XCOM was amazing. Oh, my God.
I mean, I love the original PlayStation version. I love the new version that they came out with for Xbox 360. I even played both the PC-only platforms. I played XCOM 2 where it was underwater.
Yeah.
I'm just a huge XCOM mark. I'm sad. It's sorry. It's like I like those turn-based conflict games.
Yeah.
I just like them. I'm stupid. All right, guys. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Actually, we could do this for hours. Everyone knows that. Josh Pillow is really, really angry if he's listening.
I have some Josh Pillow stuff that I think
What?
it's very fitting to bring in.
All right, we'll close with the Josh Pillow stuff. What did Josh Pillow do? Did he not listen to the show because it's too long? We're really gonna at like hour 3 drop the Josh Pillow stuff. He's gonna fucking murder us.
Well, that's fucking amazing. Let's do it.
This is great. Let's go for it. This is totally unintentional. Josh is gonna be so mad. Let's do it, Byron. What do you got for us from Josh?
So, Josh Pillow was at the Crash show. I believe that's what it was called.
Hey, do you want me to read his notes as Stone Cold? I think, like, he deserves it.
Well, I mean...
Oh, hell yeah.
No. So he said he was at the show. He said it was really awesome. Just overall, he said he's telling everyone, you know, all of us, like Los Angeles Lucha Underground fans who are getting introduced to Lucha Libre through the show, and he's saying, you got to go to TJ for a Lucha show. It's so much fun, and he says, more importantly, it's also safe. All the shit you hear about it being dangerous is just that, just talking shit. And then he said front row tickets only $35 or in that general area, which is awesome. He said it was great to see Mac Cobb Phoenix wrestling in another country. They always put on a good show. The show was billed as CMLL versus the Crash, but it was heavy with AAA guys, which kind of made the booking of the finishes a little weird. But this crowd that the show he was at, the crowd was a little more rowdy. He said, think NWO beers being thrown in the ring angry. So that's
just a waste of fucking beer, Byron.
I didn't do it. And so, I mean, he could go on and on and on, but he actually has a shoot job right now so he can't actually podcast with us at in the middle of a day on a work day. But he said it was really cool. The matches were a little short, but the announcement and Phoenix coming out with the new mask and outfit was really cool. It's a solid match. He didn't like the double count-out finish where Phoenix and Dorado did a suplex off the apron onto the floor. I don't think anyone really liked it, but it was brutal. There's no padding. And they wanted to keep fighting, but basically that's the finish you have to do because...
Yeah, it's two promotions fighting against each other.
Yeah, it's cool. You want to see the guys do their spots, but yeah, I think that's...
And I do want to say Phoenix did a promo saying, I'm done with AAA.
He's done. He's an independent wrestler. So this is but the big deal about this show, more than anything, is it's the birth of ReyFenix, the independent wrestler, who's
and
out of San Diego.
Was not done with AAA, and it was a work or something. CMLL would have pulled all their guys off of the show because they've done that in the past. So that is proof that Phoenix is gone. If you don't believe Phoenix, but fucking believe Phoenix, dude. Phoenix is the shit. Come on.
No. This is the official birth or rebirth of ReyFenix now. I think him and a bunch of other guys that, part of Konnan's sort of luchador crew, they go through, they work with Masked Republic and Lucha Shop, so they can actually have an avenue to sell their merch that isn't like out of the back of their truck. It's hard as hell to buy a shirt for a luchador.
Yeah, that at the end of the day is the real question, because it's like, I've heard Lucha Underground contracts aren't terrible, but they're not something that's going to feed you all year round. So you got to have another gig, and if his gig's not AAA,
it's intellectual property. Like you can't sell your Lucha Underground gimmick at Masked Republic, but Lucha Underground doesn't really have a good merchandising option on their own. So this is great,
right? Which we talked to Eric about last week. If you haven't listened to our interview, go back and listen to it, because I personally, that's been my biggest complaint with Lucha Underground, and we told Eric that flat out of like, hey, what's up with merch? He's the showrunner, and literally that's his job. He runs mostly the show, so he's kind of powerless to affect some of that stuff. But hopefully,
but he knows. He fucking knew. He knew where we were going before we even said it, man.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure all he hears is what the fuck's up with the merchandise. Like, I love Lucha Underground. I love the show. That new Pentagon Dark shirt fucking sucks, man.
Oh, the one that's up on Pro Wrestling Tees?
Yeah.
Not their finest. Not their
finest. The one they released at the last tapings was cool.
Yeah.
But the most recent one they just put out, super lazy.
I gotta say, I look forward to seeing Pentagon and Crash soon. I hope that happens. And I think it's the right move career-wise if he does it.
Yeah, we'll see. I think Phoenix is really I don't know what happened, but he's going through the door first. I don't know if Pentagon. I don't know how soon he's going to go through that door.
We've heard tale that Pentagon is happy at AAA right now, and that there's no problems. And that our speculation a couple of weeks ago that he might be having beef too is not necessarily founded, because that gig in England was booked a long time ago.
Yeah.
And because of Alberto, AAA just booked that show that weekend, and Pentagon's unavailable. But Pentagon, from what I'm hearing, has no beef with AAA.
But eventually, when he keeps getting more and more respect from everywhere else, you would just come to the conclusion that he might want to make a decision reflecting that. But we'll see. But I think the Phoenix thing is really cool because he still keeps a little bit of his established brand, but he's just new enough. Now he can sell shirts, and you can buy his first round of the Phoenix mask, because they all do different colors all the time. Go to Mask.
And it's a cool mask too.
It's a cool mask. His name is
Masked Republic.
Masked Republic Lucha Shop. Buy the shirts and masks. Support them.
Use code LR Heels to support our buddies, the Last Real Heels, when you check out. We don't have our own code.
And it's really awesome. ReyFenix is, just really one of the top up-and-coming luchadors, and he shouldn't be up-and-coming anymore. So it's
damn Triple Crown winner.
Yeah, but
if
ReyFenix
was still booking AAA, he would be a lot bigger name in Mexico than he is right now, and so would Pentagon, even though because Konnan tried to put the belt the main belt, not the secondary belt that Pentagon won, that I kind of made more of a big deal about just because Pentagon was holding it than the belt actually.
Yeah, but see, what we need Konnan to be a lot richer. That's what we need. Konnan needs to have a lot more money because he's got very strong opinions, and anybody in the wrestling business who has very strong opinions, eventually you're going to rub the wrong person the wrong way one time, and that's really all it takes. And then now you got poor Konnan who's got this awesome show, this awesome podcast, but it's like, damn it, I don't want Konnan to have an awesome podcast. I want him to be booking somewhere. I really do.
Konnan, we need another promo Azteca situation, but with a better ending for Konnan.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway. And speaking of shirts and Last Real Heels, go to the Pro Wrestling Tees Last Real Heels store and get your Vinnie Massaro shirts, who was our guest today. And I literally, before I even knew Vinnie was going to be on today, I woke up and put this shirt on. I'm sure Byron was a mark and put his on afterwards.
Byron, the belt's blocking the shirt, dude.
I was sleeping in it.
That's what you do? That's how you respect the Massaro shirt? You're a dick.
What a coincidence.
He probably took a dump in it too, Vinny.
I think it's important also to bring up that the ReyFenix name is sort of a tribute to Rey Mysterio, who ReyFenix looks up to greatly. I think that's just the last thing.
Yeah, that's fucking cool.
Well, I wish him all the best too, and I hope that it doesn't cause any issues with Lucha Underground, as we've said before. Because that would be tragic if for some reason his fallout with AAA had any repercussions of his working in Lucha Underground. We even talked with Eric Van Wagen about this last week. These are the things that scare the crap out of us as fans, because these guys have agreements and stuff other places, and I don't know where it crosses the line with the guys who are bringing in gimmicks from the outside or AAA gimmicks or whatnot. We'll see. Only time will tell. I mean, Season 3 was already shot. We all know that. So Season 3 is intact. But for Season 4, it's going to be very interesting to see how ReyFenix shows up at the temple. And I don't think we'll have that answer until January or February.
Hey, you know what? I think that if there are rumored Lucha Underground shows elsewhere next month, like a lot of people have been reporting, and none of us really know anything about this.
No, we didn't ask EVW about it either, but I believe that they're going to try to do Austin, and I think maybe Hammerstein Ballroom in New York. We'll see.
I think it says a lot of Phoenix shows up on those shows.
I think he will. I think he'll be there.
I think that's an indication of how things are going to go, though, if he's on those.
We'll see.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go and eat some food off camera since I...
Yeah, me too. I'm hungry, dude. I got like a hungry man waiting for me in the freezer and shit.
I bet you
real food. What are you going to eat, Byron? Some kelp? Some kale?
I'm going to have some chicken and waffles, son. What are you having, Byron?
I'm going to eat some jam-packed salmon lunch.
Sounds like he's going to have some vegan raisins.
Why do you still think I'm vegan?
Wait, did you say salmon?
No, he said semen. He said semen.
It's pronounced salmon.
It's pronounced semen,
you pronounce all the letters in a word.
It's packed with protein.
Oh, I'm sure he likes to have his protein packed.
Oh, he does.
What does that even mean? What is that supposed to mean?
Bend over and we'll show you.
What?
It means until next time, stay calm and stay in the mix.